What about it?
Right here.
Yeah.
That's a wall. Yeah, what's up with it?
Oh, are you talking
Oh,
about the
it's like
little?
very, very slightly off.
It's not symmetrical.
That's an intentional design choice.
Yes.
Actually, that's a false wall. You can push it, and it makes a little.
Actually, if you look over on the other side, it's even worse.
It's not that bad there because it's covered up.
What do you mean?
Although it is flush with the door, so it wouldn't be able to open. So if you pushed it, it would only open very slightly.
Well, this door can only open
unless,
to this point.
Yeah, unless it's a pull door. It would have to be a pull-open door.
It's a pull door.
Which is weird for a room. Which is weird for a door that enters into a main hallway, but still, you know.
This one's a push door.
You know, you didn't build the house.
Actually, they're sliding doors. They actually slide into the wall.
Oh, that sucks. I hate those doors.
Why?
Because every time you get one, you always close it accidentally too hard, and then it kind of like bounces back open, and you have to like get up and like very slowly close it to make sure. You can't just like slam the door. Which is
These doors are always open.
See,
when the
donkeys
bar
can't
is
get
in
through this
swing.
door because it's all messed up.
Because it's a sliding door. You can't open it. Donkey
Let the donkey inside. Get out of here. Shoot.
You have your own little house. You know, we should actually make one of these staples much nicer than the rest. For Donkey.
No, the donkey doesn't deserve it.
He won't know the difference.
He
He actually has a lot of room compared to a normal horse stable.
Yeah.
Do the tables have to be big enough for dinosaurs?
That's true.
Next.
Alright. Recording now.
There we go.
I actually have been recording for like a few minutes, but recording now. It's Sevenic Stories. Episode 7, I think. Robbie.
Oh,
why don't
great.
you
Oh, no.
recap us, starting with, God, what did happen last time?
This is session 8.
Session 8. What
Yeah, we
happened
missed a
last
week,
time?
didn't we?
We missed 2 weeks.
We've missed
2
plenty
weeks.
of
That's
weeks.
even better.
Oh no, we've missed 3
Um,
weeks consecutively. Last time we played
shit,
was the
man.
26th.
Well, no wonder I can't remember anything. Cthulhu Cave Terror, running for dear lives. Was that last session or last
that has
before
to be last
last?
session.
If you just check Around the Living World, you can just steal my notes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Steal notes. Where are the notes? Let me find those notes.
I keep
the
detailed
Living
notes of
World?
every game except Scardale.
But Scarlet already
I
has
noticed you
40
didn't keep detailed notes of Daggerfall. Prick.
Well, Daggerfall's lame.
He's also not in the game.
That's his problem, not ours.
It is actually his
Oh,
problem. that's
awesome.
true.
Okay. So,
Don't worry, I
We
keep
took up a
detailed notes
mission.
of Daggerfall.
we took up a mission from the Viceroy to go find out what happened to a caravan that went missing, which was bound to a fort to the south, I believe. We went down that way. We found a few things. We eventually found where the caravan was destroyed and the people were taken. We also spoke to birds. The birds helped us out. We go to a very disgusting flesh pit of things, and there's like these, and where we found that the people who were on the caravan were transformed into diabolical monsters that kept moving after you split them in half. We put the transformed caravanners out of misery. We took out the tentacle mind, the not mind flayer, the
Faceless
tentacle
one.
mind guy. Yeah, the mind guy. And we decided to go down one of the caverns that was inside this fleshy creek biome pit and whatever. We went down there. We ended up going into the Underdark, and we got further. We went past the Underdark, and we ended up in a Cthulhuian realm filled with monsters, and we ran away very quickly. and we somehow made it out alive. And we reported everything to the viceroy. And yeah, we also took the shipment to the fort where it's supposed to go. And yeah, not quite in that order, but we got our quest reward. We returned home to recuperate, and we got new people to interview. Yeah.
Yes, when you got home, you put out a request for specific positions that needed to be filled, and it has canonically been 3 days.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, gang, it is the, I believe, 18th of Mirthul. It is a beautiful spring day outside. As usual, it is completely cloudless and sunny on this beach. And the area is absolutely beautiful. This would be some great real estate, if not for the tentacle monster living underneath the continent. Oh, actually, I'm stupid. It is not spring, it is summer. Mirthul takes place after Greengrass, which is the day that essentially starts the summer.
Nice.
Sevenic Stories, by the way, is only 12 days behind Skulls of Scardale.
Yes.
You guys are gonna might. You
Thought
guys might.
Skulls is mid-spring.
No. Skulls is now very early summer, just like this game.
Okay, because when I asked for the location of my family, he said spring.
That was a mistake on my part.
Okay.
What things happened recently? There's actually no holidays. There are no holidays that anyone here would celebrate or the town would celebrate. It is the 18th of Mirthul. Until the 20th next month is summer solstice. You have like a good 40 days of no holidays. Which is a completely crazy thing to think about, at least in real life.
Not really.
I mean, there's holidays literally all the time. I mean, it's President's Day in 2 days.
What?
President's Day? It's a holiday.
What's a president?
I'm talking about real life.
Dictator.
Oh.
Let's see. Oh, wait. Look at this. I found this. Oh, I put it in the wrong channel. It's a Living World.
Dude, I thought it was gonna be cock.
No, it's a cat in a bag. Very great. But the party gathers now around the breakfast table. It is the morning when the interviewee should be showing up. This is the deadline for the interview date. And the party is making plans for what exactly is going to be going on during these interviews. What exactly you're going to be asking. What exactly you're going to be testing. If there's going to be like a game show type element.
Well, depends on which person we're interviewing. If they are a member for the guild, then the interview is going to be different than if they are a member for
Just to let you know, because you scheduled these. The interviews for Cook are happening in the morning. The interviews for Live and Maid are happening in the afternoon. And then in the early evening, the interview for Accountant is going to take place. Giving you plenty of time throughout the day for people to show up. Those people will arrive, meet Anissa, and be led to a room of your choosing. Is there any specific place you guys wanted to interview people? We have a big, ominous, empty room. That'd be kind of a fucking power move if you walk in for an interview and there's no furniture and the guys what you want are just to work for are just standing in the side of the room.
No. They're all laying down, just leaning against
Nah,
walls.
we can do it over here.
Yeah, what's-
Who are
what's the
we
answer to that
interviewing
for
first?
anyway?
The cook?
The cooks.
Yep.
I want them brought straight to the kitchen.
That does make sense.
Do it over here.
And for the maid, we will have them brought straight to Torch's room.
It is a mess.
Torch's room is off limit for the maid.
Why does your room have an anvil and a like sharpening stone?
Wait, wait, this is Torch's room?
Yeah, it's very
Yep.
dirty.
I like that I like that he got rid of his bed and put up a hammock.
It's because he's very small and these beds are too much.
Sleeps for the week.
He does, but they don't even sleep in the hammock. They sleep on the ground, like in a pile
Yeah.
of dust.
I just pass out where I end up.
All right. Is this going to be a sit down interview? You guys are pretty classy.
How does that make you classy?
I don't know. I didn't expect you guys to be proper in any
Formal.
form, one way or another.
Why not?
Because you guys are
Robots?
crazy robots. And a gnome. And I guess Anissa's pretty normal, but
Yeah, she's just a normal.
Pets aren't allowed to
person.
leave the room their masters in.
Eh?
And as a note, the two robots have actually been as normal as possible, considering they're robots.
The ones that are abnormal are the non-robots.
Yeah.
abnormal is true.
See, case in point, the robots don't say abnormal.
True.
That's
The robots have a decent understanding of the English language.
Look, my
So-
brain hurts. I can't think well. Okay.
Brain hurty. All right, gang.
Dude, I like the idea of Anissa bringing somebody in. The series is curtained. So the people like open the curtains and they're just being stared down by this.
Wait, hold up. I'm gonna sit on the table.
No, you're not.
Gently scoops up the boy, puts him down.
Nah, Ryder is like just pushes his hand across the table.
Oh,
Like
when you said, I know you said Ryder, but it definitely sounded like you said a Redditor, and I just had the best moment of my life. I'm the Reddit bot. Okay. Is there anything?
I
you
am
guys wanna talk-
RDT.
Is there anything you guys want to talk to each other about or prepare before the interview?
Are there fish
you
in
got-
the river?
Are there fish in the river? Maybe. There's
you said
probably-
it was an
there's-
artificial river.
It is
Based on the map of the large
yeah,
thing that it was
It is for show. I mean, there's probably some fish, nothing too big.
probably koi
Yeah,
type
nothing-
fish. Not necessarily koi, but koi type fish.
There's nothing really to
Hmm.
fish. It's mostly the fish are for show.
Hmm.
They're decorative fish.
You could stock it.
I mean,
It's also fresh water, so none of the fish nearby would be able to live in it.
They're like
The
just a
fish-
decanter of infinite
fish-
water
the
under
f-
the bridge.
The fish are imported. No,
I need a-
it's a drain from your guys' sewage. It's automatically cleaned via magic and then just poured into the river.
I need to get a folding chair, a fishing pole, and then fish in a lake in a river that has no fish. And there you go. And that's gonna be where Algrid hangs out.
All right. So from the conversation, so anyone besides Halgret, do you guys want to do anything specific?
Well, Ray has gone ahead and written up a series of questions that he plans to ask people.
Okay, that's cool. Ryder, Torch, either of you want to do or speak to the party about anything specific? You guys have plenty. You guys have plenty of time to roleplay together before the first guy even shows up.
Oh, is there anything that people want made? Because that's the other thing Ray would be interested in. If there's anything, and that includes, remember it's at a discount for camouflage. So I'm more than willing to go ahead and make items for people. Is there anybody that needs anything?
Currently, camouflage is all right.
Okay.
I think we already talked about the stuff I needed. So
I don't know. I think just what we discussed before.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I've made a collection of very, very interesting characters for you guys to mess around with. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything specific we need to discuss about before the meetings. Gonna just talk idly.
Do you want the normal one first for Cook, or the really dumb one first?
Roll.
Okay, that's actually not a terrible idea. One sec. Oh, okay. I rolled the dumb one.
Pog.
Don't tell us. You ruined the surprise.
No, it won't even matter. As soon as you see it, you'll immediately know.
Is it Red Path?
No, that would be funny though. For some reason, Red Path is just here.
Red Path's brother, maybe?
Blue Path.
Green Path. Violet Path.
Brown
Turquoise
Path.
Path. Pink Path.
Okay, this is a playlist called Playlist for Silly Goofsters. Let's play it. By the way, just wanted to let you know in advance, you will have to pick one of these people for each of these positions. Even if you hate them all.
We could just not have the position.
That is true. You could technically kick them all out, but honestly, I think I've got a broad enough spectrum of people that it'll be impossible for you to hate all of them. I've taken your sensibilities into accounting. All right.
Let's just make Zach reroll and make him the maid. Make Torch the maid.
Make every character just an alt.
We all retire.
All right. Anissa steps in.
We don't see anything. The curtain's pulled.
I see her.
The curtain's pulled still.
Oh, yeah.
Anissa wanders over and pulls the curtain so that she can put her face through. Are you guys ready for the first one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Ryder leans forward and closes the curtain.
You hear her footsteps come back. Do you want me to bring him to the curtain, or do you want to open the curtain?
You can
Let
open
him
the
in.
curtain.
Okay, she starts opening the curtain.
Oh.
She sort of slides the curtain on like a ring. It's like a shower curtain. All right.
Imagine it would probably like roll up. No, probably not.
That doesn't
I
make
don't
any sense.
They're thick and heavy curtains.
All right,
I
here we
don't know.
go. The door opens up. Sec.
Pineapple Rag Techno Remix. Guy
Oh.
Fieri?
That's a lie. It's Fiery Guy. Thank you very much.
Oh dear.
Okay. A very portly man steps in alongside Anissa. On his back, he has a lute and a bag.
A bard?
A bard, indeed. As they step in, Anissa leads him and says, alright, there you go. Says, oh, alright, thanks. He sort of steps up and says, nice to meet you. He sort of, very forwardly sort of gets up and sort of leans forward to shake Ray's hand.
I will
And,
stand up and shake. No, I'm gonna shake his hand from sitting.
Okay, yeah, he goes over and sort of leans forward to shake everyone's hands.
Yeah.
Nice
I
to
have
meet
a
you all.
very strong grip.
His grip is not strong, but it is meaty.
My grip is strong and metallic.
He sort of plops down in the chair and it creaks slightly when he sits.
Hello.
Greetings.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, well, my name's Fiery Guy. I'm from Shondath, specifically from Shadowdale. He says, I'm, well, an explorer, real culinary expert. I'm a traveler of many exotic food groups and food places. Says, and I heard you're looking for a full-time chef.
We are.
Excellent. It's my first week in town, and I decided that, you know, why work at any old bar when you could work at something really interesting?
Well, I've got a few questions for you.
Of course.
Can you describe your experience working in a kitchen environment?
Well, of course. I have a lot of experience in kitchens. I used to own a very popular chain of restaurants.
Okay.
Eating faster.
It is. For a sec, I thought I was going crazy.
I actually had to turn it down.
I used to own a very powerful and very famous. I'm not sure if you've heard about it. I used to be the owner of Dungeons and Dragons and Dive-Ins.
No.
God.
I've never heard of that.
He says, well, it's a Shadowdale specific thing. He says, that is before I turned 40 and my wanderlust hit me. And I decided, you know, why not share my food everywhere else? He says, in the
So
kitchen,
your wanderlust is gone now?
he says, well, no, I plan to stay here for quite a while, at least until I earn enough coin to eventually set out, but I'm willing to stay for quite a while.
How do you handle food safety and hygiene?
Oh, well, magically, of course. Nothing's better than a quick clean of your hands, he says, like that, and he snaps, and there's like a sparkle in his hands. I guess they don't change, because he wasn't dirty before, but he says, trust me, I'm very clean now.
Can you tell us about a time when you had to adapt to a difficult situation in the kitchen?
Oh, excellent. Indeed. Well, there was this one time I was serving a group of very stingy elves. Wood elves, I believe, specifically. And they demanded that during my very famous barbecue, that I was able to barbecue them up something without meat. And with a little bit of pizzazz, I was able to barbecue some fresh vegetables for them. Without any tools, of course. I cook magically entirely. It gives that really powerful flavor you can't get with just a wood oven or even one that's magically fueled. Straight from the heart, you know. He sort of makes a heart symbol with his fingers and puts it over his heart, where you assume it is.
Ryder beats his center of his chest.
Magic straight from the heart, and food made with love, of course.
What, as as you heard, our bar is open to whatever sort of aesthetic you are interested in setting up. What sort of food would you like to serve?
Oh, well, I can cook all sorts of food, but the kind of food you get at bars is stuff like, uh, roasted meat, chicken, especially chicken, goes well with beer and liquor. He says, and I believe chickens are well within, import range here. He says, as well as, of course, lots of savory, smoked sauces I create. Oh, well, I don't make the sauces magically, I make them mundanely. I'm not quite to the point where I can conjure sauces. He says, but I'm well easy to work with, any sort of tools you have, and I can serve drinks. I'm not an expert bartender, but you don't gotta be an expert to serve a beer.
Ryder nods and then looks back to Ra.
That goofy on
Continue.
music.
How do you handle customer feedback and make adjustments to dishes or menus?
Well, in my personal opinion, the customer's always right. He said.
I hate him.
And if they want something changed, and if they don't like their meal, it's easy enough to prep something new or try to adjust it for them.
And what do you do with the food that has been wasted because you have to do something new?
Oh, I usually eat it, or one of the kitchen staff will. We don't throw anything out here. It's just gonna attract animals, and you don't want that anywhere near a kitchen.
True.
How do you stay up to date with food trends, new cooking techniques, or new magical techniques for cooking food?
Well, I'm well versed in all sorts. I suppose if something is cutting edge and I haven't heard about it, I suppose there's no way I could. But I keep my tabs on the local news. I'm not sure how connected you are with the continent down here. He says, but I've been all over Shaolang, Taram, Chondath, Ileskar. Everywhere you can imagine, I've been.
The music.
One last question for you. Can you describe your experience with inventory management and ordering of uh, supplies for keeping the kitchen stocked?
Oh, well. With a well stocked market nearby, it shouldn't be that hard every day. When I have something that I need prepared, or if I need to have something stocked, I go down to the market myself, take a budget of whatever's allotted to me, and I buy all my ingredients fresh. Or, if they are base ingredients like breads or doughs, I can conjure them using spells that I can, well, they're very basic spells for conjuring food.
Mm-hmm.
Anything bland and plain can easily be conjured without any real issue. Allow me. He takes the loot off his back and puts one.
Spends 10 minutes making food and water.
He begins to strum. How long does it take to cast create food and water?
10 minutes.
Okay, he just starts strumming.
I will watch silently.
Yep. We watch silently and awkwardly as he takes his 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes, he plays a early years Jack Black style ditty, with a lot of scatting and sort of improvisation. There's clearly not like a lyric thing to this. And he spends 10 minutes serenading enough food to feed. Let's see. He is.
Wait, he's a bard? He has to be a lore bard then.
He
Like-
is a specific archetype of bard called. It's a third-party bard
Oh,
that specifically is based on cooking, using that as perform cook instead of profession cook.
nice.
Yeah, so he generates enough food to feed 6 horses.
6,
I will-
12, 18 people.
Yes, he generates enough bread, sort of standard loaves of bread in containers, to feed 18 people to full.
I will take a slice of it, and a hatch opens in my chest, and I drop it into there. Close the hatch. Very tasty.
Thank you, of course. It's not exactly anything special, but it's plenty of supply, and it won't disappear for 24 hours.
Do you need to make that much noise when you prep all your food?
Oh, not all of it, no. That specific spell is a bit longer than normal, but yes, all of my magic is cast musically, if that's what you're asking.
Fascinating.
Of course. I've studied a long time. I went to Bard's College, you know.
Any other questions for him, Ara?
No, I think that should be it.
Alright. Torch, anything you want to say?
No. He already did what I was going to ask him to do.
Play music for 10 minutes?
No. Make some food.
Alright. He plays, a little ditty. It's only a few notes. You don't need to worry about a whole song. As he gives a dramatic bow, which is hard because he is very,
Portly.
I would dare to call him obese. Although that would be very rude to call him to his face, so don't do that. But he steps out, led by Anissa, giving waves, the whole way.
Yeah.
And
Okay, you deleted Anissa too.
well, yeah, they're
As-
both out of sight.
As soon as they step out of the room. I don't like him.
He seems like he would make quite a good person for the position with his magic.
And it would reduce the cost, since a lot of food could be made that way, pointing to the huge amount of food that's on the table.
There's
Right, or just
there's
Takes-
anywhere from 16 to 27 loaves of bread.
and it's all very bland.
Oh, it's just plain wheat bread.
Mm-hmm.
Understand, but I don't have taste sensors, so I thought it was
I
fantastic.
used Create Food and Water in the Friday game, and I was like, yeah, since the food is completely bland, I conjure up like the base, and I use it to conjure the base ingredients for food, like raw rice, and we can cook it and add flavor to it that way. And everyone got so mad at me. They're like, that's not how the spell works. And I'm like,
God.
Okay, that's enough playlist for silly goofers. That's the only person it applies to.
it wasn't even that silly. It was pretty normal.
I would say that he was pretty silly.
He was silly because he was Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
His name is Fiery Guy.
I like that that's the name he used.
The original art I had for him had him have like frosted tips and everything.
You should have just used a picture of Guy Fieri.
Hey,
Or sent it to me, and I would have made frosted tips for him.
yeah, but then it would have ruined the surprise of Guy Fieri.
I would have known it was for this game
Please?
until I saw it. Then I would have
Spider,
laughed my ass off.
Spider, for no specific reason, please put frosted tips on this fantasy Guy Fieri.
Sure, I would do it. How many times that you've actually asked me at least 3 times now to go ahead and do little adjustments to NPCs, and I do not mind.
By the way, this is Audio Jungle royalty-free interview background music.
I actually went ahead and came up with 10 interview questions for each one, and then I'm pulling from those to figure out which ones I'm going to ask.
All right, up next.
Hey,
So-
Spider, can you do a little photo editing for me, quick?
Yeah.
Can you take this? Okay.
Anissa
Hey.
opens the door, and sort of very hurriedly walks in. She looks a little exasperated, and kind of sweaty. She says, all right, the next person has arrived. Are you ready?
Are you all right?
Yes, they're just a little they're a handful. I'm just saying, be prepared. They're, unorthodox. Even more so than the guy with the guitar. He was more, funny. This one's a little, scary.
Interesting.
I don't think he's dangerous, but, he's a little, surprising, is the word I will use.
Bring him in. Let us see if he triggers our fear sensors.
She nods and runs outside. This music is totally not gonna fit this guy, but I'm just gonna keep it playing.
An orc?
That is an orc, as in with a K.
Oh.
Oh damn.
A large orc. You probably have battled orcs in the past, especially because you fought in the Whispering Expanse for a bit. There's ash orcs.
Wait, I can talk as Anissa. What?
Anissa, for some reason, yells "orc, orc, orc" incredibly loudly.
That's not what.
He doesn't seem to care. But the very large, very wide. He's wider than he is tall, and that's saying something because he's 6 feet tall.
I look down on him.
He sort of steps up. He's wearing leathers and fur on his back. He has many kitchen knives, a cleaver. All over his body, he has skulls, chicken skull, rabbit's feet, and rabbit's ears and heads. Different sort of small game animals hanging off his body. He is scarred, and he sort of stumbles up and plops down, putting his 2 big meaty hands on the table in front of him. And he's just kind of quiet.
Greetings. I hold out a hand.
Nice to meet you. He extends a hand out and shakes you. There is a very manly handshake exchange between the two. My name's Grog, like the drink.
Looks over at Raw.
He sort of just looks around.
Okay. So, first, give me a half second. I was in the middle of doing my art that I was asked to do.
That was a meme. You don't have to do that.
I'm almost done.
I'm Grog, like the drink.
Can you describe your experience working in a kitchen environment? Grog?
Kitchens, yeah. I know kitchens all over. He says, I was, the main cook boy for the tribe. Back when they existed. He said, he sort of chuckles. I did all sorts of stuff. Mushroom stew and meats and beer. I know how to brew. Grog, he says, like my namesake. He sort of sips from a flask at his hip. I used to do all sorts of stuff for the tribe, he says. But then something weird happened. Something broke. He points up at his head. Disconnected. Now I cook from my own for gold and coins.
What did you disconnect from?
The war mind, he says. Orcs, he says, they all know a few things. When they're born, they know how to fight and to eat. And, he says, when we all got wiped out, he says, in the Five Kings Mountains, I got away. But something, he says, he sort of points to a scar, like a horrific looking scar on the side of his forehead, right near his temple. I took a bump to the head, and when I woke up, I could think like y'all think, not like an orc.
I see.
I was only barely allowed in the city because I could write. They said that an orc couldn't.
Interesting.
Well, that means you have had different experiences than most of the candidates, so I've got some other questions for you.
Alright.
How do you keep your kitchen clean?
Clean?
Yeah.
You mean like no guts around, or blood, or dirt?
Dirt.
Yeah, if you don't want dirt, I'll clean it.
So if we don't want dirt in our food, you'll clean it?
Yeah. Most people don't mind little dirt on the meat. Sometimes you drop it, you know. You know, you just cook it again or burn it. It's not gonna make you sick.
It does have a point there. It's not likely to make us sick.
Oh,
Yes.
this hurts me so much.
So Zach's definitely dealt with this exact person before in his job.
You know, I never really cook in a big kitchen like the one the lady showed me. He motions back to Anissa. That kitchen's big, has a lot of machines. I don't know too much. I mostly cook on a spit or with stew. But I could learn new thing. I learn all sorts of new things ever since he sort of motions at his head.
Nods.
Can you describe your experience with inventory management and ordering supplies?
Oh, he says, yeah. I get all my supplies myself. You know, usually I hunt, or, you know, back when the tribe was together,
Well, why?
we would usually beat people for their things. And,
Yeah.
you know, we would take caravans, and wheat, and mushrooms, and potatoes, and I would brew it all up into wines and liquor.
Have you tried cooking the meats of the creatures of this island yet?
Oh, some of them. A lot of them are really sour. Or, he sort of licks his lips slightly. Stingy.
Acidic.
Yeah, what'd that mean?
Are you a skilled fighter?
Fighter?
Beyond normal of your kind?
He says, all orcs off. He says, even the weakest orc is stronger than the strongest man.
Same for our kind.
I hunt and I trap. I'm clever, a smart boy. He puts both his fingers to his temples like he's like doing like the think pose. I'm smart. That's why I was cook. The boys called me a smart boy, clever boy. So I got the best jobs.
Any next question, Spider?
None of the questions make sense for this character to ask him, so I'm pretty much done.
Could you prep us a meal right now?
Yeah, I guess so. It take me a bit. You got a fire?
Yep.
George, why don't you show him?
Anissa
How's
nods
your
and
work?
says, Gorg, if you want to come with me, please. Yeah. It's Grog, not Gorg. That's a reference. Yeah, I see a fire. Gorg turns towards Anissa. Do they want to be in here for this, or are they just gonna sit out there? Anissa shrugs.
I told Torch to go show him.
Sorry, I selected the treasure box instead of torch.
Okay, Anissa follows the torch. Gorg says, I have one sec. He puts a leather sack down on the ground and reaches into it. He pulls out several dead rodents. Says, alright, cook these. Grog shows you the rodents, as if to be like, is this alright?
You are the chef.
Alright. Yeah. I'm the chef. He says, he sort of walks around, he sort of inspects what you have. Okay, water. He sort of puts his hands in the pool. Yeah. Okay, vegetables. What's down? He's sort of just down here.
He trips and falls downstairs.
Dies, and we have to pay.
He walks. He walks upstairs. There's just like a handful of different spices. Okay, he just and by the way, not in the containers.
There's a handful.
Yeah.
Handful of the powdered spices. Mountain dwarves have a cultural hatred, meaning not exactly that you hate them, but that you specifically are trained on how to kill orcs. That is one of the major enemies of your culture. Just like how if you were living on the savannah of like prehistory Africa, you would understand how to either run away from or confront a predator. Because that is basically how they are treated. They are dangerous, animal-like creatures.
So basically, yes.
Yes.
You don't trust or like orcs.
Yes.
You think of them as animals.
I thought so. Yeah.
Okay. Just clip through the. All right. It takes like 15-20 minutes. But Gorg. I'm gonna say Gorg, by the way. I'm gonna go between Gorg and Grog. He produces 3 kebab sticks with different bits of meat on them, spiced meat, and he puts them on a plate, and then crouches down, like really crouches, to give them the torch. There you go, one for each of you. That one there is yours. There's like an appropriately sized one. There you go.
No, Grog, please stand for this.
Grog never sat.
Oh, okay. Okay. I will hand one out to each person.
Okay. I will put it in my shoot. I've
Yeah,
beaten
just
more than I
drop it
need.
down my hatch.
Yeah.
Is Torch the only one that can taste?
Yes.
That was fantastic.
Thank you. You
What's
know,
that,
I had
Torch?
very few things to work with. Might have to go hunting or shopping if I get the job.
I will taste it. How is it? Is it gamey?
It is spiced rat.
So
It's just spiced
super
rat?
gamey.
It is spiced rat. It's not, it is not amazing. I'm gonna be honest. It's not amazing.
He doesn't seem like a good chef.
Um,
He doesn't have.
It seems like this would sustain you on a journey. Yeah, it seems like if you were at a campsite and this guy's like, I know it can feed us, you would not turn this away.
Alright.
But
I think this
also-
guy. We should just invite this guy to join the guild and travel with people instead of. I think that'd be funnier.
Alright. Grog sits down after you're done with the meal. You said it was good. Good. I didn't have too much to work with.
Well, I like the note of cinnamon. My
Eh?
character has vague memories of what of cinnamon, not what it tasted like, because he doesn't ever have any memories.
He just
of
remembers
taste.
there. He just
There
saw
was a
cinnamon
word.
on it.
Cinnamon.
Also, it's not a normal rat. This is the rat that is used. One sec. Put it in general chat.
Oh, a kangaroo mouse.
Not just a kangaroo mouse. A kangaroo rat.
I
Mm.
think this concludes the interview.
Indeed.
Where do I
Spins
go?
around.
You
Anissa
made-
Anissa will show you out.
Come with me, Grog. I'll show you to the door. Alright, see ya.
We'll contact you later if we're interested.
Dude can't cook.
No. He could be an interesting applicant if he was interested in joining the guild itself.
Yes.
Adventuring parties can always use a roadside cook who can make do with what is available.
Indeed.
Anissa steps back in. Alright.
Strange applicant.
Like I said, he's, incredibly unusual and a little scary.
He was
He
very
was not
small.
scary.
Well, he's covered in dead animal parts.
Yes, very
So is
unhygienic.
Holgrit.
Holgrid at least styles them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says from like 4 rooms away. Yeah. We have
He
one
likes-
more. This one is very normal.
Okay. Show the person in.
It is just a peasant art.
She quickly walks in and sort of gives a gentle bow, and she sort of flattens her dress to sit down properly. Hey there,
Hello.
I'm Belle.
Last name Delphine? No.
Last name is Gerons.
Can you describe your experience working in a kitchen environment, Del?
Well, I've never worked in a kitchen professionally, but I've raised 5 kids. And, picky kids is what I mean. I'm a cook. I work well with, baking and, basic, all sorts of things like and such as that. Well, you know, I can cook stews and soups, and pretty much nothing basic is out of my reach. She seems very clearly very nervous. You know, now that all my kids are up and moved, I don't really have anything to do during the day, so I was thinking, you know, why not get a job? My husband's an adventurer, you know, and he's been gone for a while, but he sends gold, so I haven't really had to work. I've just been raising our sons and daughters, and now that the oldest one is taking the ship off to Tasdale, I'm just here by myself.
How did you come to New Chanda?
Well, our family settled here in the beginning. You know, there was a big stipend for new colonists, you know, so we all, you know, my husband was still adventuring then. He's a big shot wizard in Shadowdale. He says, and every once in a while he'll pop in, but he has a lot of important duties. He says, so, me and the kids, there was 3 of them at that point. The other 2 were all grown up. They and I, we took the stipend. It was very nice. We settled down in a nice house here in the center. I live out in the outlands now, outside the wall, in a small little apartment. He says, we've lived here, you know, ever since the colony started.
Can you explain how you figure out food safety and hygiene?
Oh, well, I just, common sense, isn't it? You just clean everything after you use it and store it properly so it doesn't get moldy or, he says, and, you know, cleaning utensils and making sure that certain foods don't touch each other before preparation. It's all very basic stuff. You know, you need to know that kind of stuff if you're cooking for yourself, or you're gonna get sick.
Do you have a history with alcoholic beverages? This position is also for bartending.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I don't drink personally, but I see no problem in drinking. I just personally, it makes me sick. So I could serve drinks easy enough. You know, I don't know how to make anything exotic or fancy like you get in the Sky City, but, you know, simple beer or a shot I can pour. I got hands. She sort of motions as if you didn't realize. So, you know, it's easy enough.
What would you do with the kitchen? What sort of goods would you like to sell? We are obviously open to...
Oh, well, I can make almost anything on demand if it's requested. I mean, obviously, if you need something crazy, like a big cake or a, 7-course meal, it'll take me a bit. I am just one person. But, I can make almost any basic dish on command. Is this a monthly paid job or a yearly?
This would be a monthly paid job.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I expected. The pay is no issue. I can take the flat rate. I don't really need the money. I'm just looking for something to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, idle hands and all.
Next question, Earl?
How would you do inventory management and ordering of supplies for a kitchen that might serve upwards of 100 people to 150 people in a night?
You're really expecting this to be big.
She looks surprised. You expect to get that many so soon? You haven't even
No.
opened.
No,
Oh.
but I do plan for us to grow, and I'm wondering how you would expect to handle that.
Well, with that kind of customer intake, it would be irresponsible to just have me. You would need at that kind of intake, you would need someone to, well, keep track of the finances, and you would need someone to serve the food and someone to cook the food. I certainly couldn't do both with that many.
That was way high of a number.
150 in a night? No, that's 10 an hour. That's not huge numbers.
It was like
I don't
12
think
seats.
I don't think I could feed that many people so quick.
Okay.
But you know, if you got a pantry, I could keep everything stocked. That's all just basic numbers. I know I can count good.
Mhm.
She sits in silence, staring at all three of you.
I guess we only out of character. I guess we only have room for 8 seats. I was thinking we had room for 15 seats. So we only have room for 8 seats. So it's probably closer to our max would be about 50 in a night.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have all these tables.
Correct, but
it's also
right.
so like food wise, most people will probably just get drinks. Adventurers might get like their lunch, dinner.
Well, remember, adventurers would get probably get 2 meals, their
Mhm.
breakfast and their dinner, which I was counting both meals.
Mhm.
So say we have 10 people there, that's 20 meals right there before we even go much further than that. And we already have what? How many people? 6, 7?
We have 3 that eat, 4 that eat.
Fair. The 2 of us don't eat. Okay.
And we have 3.5 that eat.
No, that's 3 1/4.
Yeah. All right. Well, the last thing we want you to do is go into our kitchen and just whip something up real quick.
Yeah, okay, I can do something real quick. Shouldn't take more than just a few minutes. She quickly looks around, grabs some potatoes. Okay, she just begins preparing salted and buttered baked potatoes.
Mhm.
It doesn't take more than like 6 minutes. But she, after they are finished, she lays them on a platter and shows them to Torch.
Mm.
Here you go.
I will take one
They are very
and
hot.
just eat it right here.
You bite fully into a baked potato
He likes the burn.
like a psycho. It is like
I drink my liquor straight. I eat my potatoes hot.
She, after Torch takes them, she brings the platter out. She says, "All right, here you are, dears." She sets it down.
Anise is like,
Anise very hungrily eyes the baked potatoes because she's not eaten.
Oh yes.
And you guys don't have to.
I mean, eat, Anissa.
Thank you.
It is better than us eating.
I just
We don't
I didn't-
taste the
I didn't
food.
eat breakfast. She takes one of the baked potatoes and just sort of holds it, and I'll eat this in the hallway. Anissa is kind of just like a pathetic Miss Pauling from TF2.
Yeah, she's just very awkward.
I'm playing
That
her.
is mean.
I'm playing her how Robbie played her.
Yeah, you're doing
That's-
good.
That is actually very accurate. Yes, I am awkward.
All right. You consume one of the baked potatoes. It's hot. That's all you feel. You feel the warmth as you eat it. But that's it. It's warm and it's a little slimy because it has butter on it.
Alright. I think we're good on the interview now.
It actually would not be a terrible idea to have things cooked for texture for Ryder and Ray, so you can feel it, but you won't taste it.
Honestly, we're totally good with just like eating conjured food because it's bland, but we don't notice.
Yeah.
All right, gang. So putting them side by. Does anyone
They're the
does anyone have an immediate vote on who they like for cook?
guy,
Fiery
Yeah,
guy.
Guy.
the obvious choice.
Yeah, guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys did not like Guy.
No,
What?
Torch hates him.
He's
But
obvious.
Torch will
hates him.
vote for him.
He's the only good chef. He has experience running kitchens. He can conjure food, and he's like not stuck up. He says he likes picking up his own food from like markets and stuff.
And on top of that, he's looking to adventure, and our group knows that this is that we are going to be looking for various relics. We don't know where they all are. We think they're on this island, but we also know that we might find out because again, we know that things are changed huge. So we're going to be going looking. And so
Plus, also,
somebody
he-
that wants to move with us, perfect.
I just
Also,
assume
he
I
is
assume
far traveled.
I assume
so-
he's gonna. The only thing with him is I assume he wants a little more money.
You know,
That's all right.
he's gonna start a chain here: Dungeons and Dragons and dives, and drive-ins and dives. Which by
Yeah,
the
I
way,
mean, I
is
said
not
we
much.
talk to him. I said we talk to him and ask it. Tell him he's hired. Talk about the the terms, conditions, blah blah blah. We could offer Belle like a position in the kitchen when we get busier or something.
All right, so it seems pretty heavily swayed towards Guy. Is anyone interested in hiring Grog?
As an adventuring cook, yes, but we don't need an adventuring cook yet.
I mean, I'd say we just bring him in because we're gonna get more adventures after these
The
interviews.
absolute worst case scenario is you hire everyone that comes in.
Well, no. We wouldn't hire him. We would invite him to be an adventurer cook.
Okay,
And like,
he may accept that.
Hmm.
There's a percentile chance that they will just offer to adventure if they have if they have class levels. Specifically, so Fiery Guy is a 6th level bard. College of the Culinary College is what the archetype is called. Grog is a 4th level ranger. Favored terrain mountain. Belle has no levels. She's a 1st level commoner.
oh, not even an expert.
Nope. She's a mother, who's cooked a lot. She has a point in it. She has a decent wisdom for profession cook. That's all she has.
Is she 9, 10 versus 3, 4? Yeah, but yeah, Guy Ferry's the obvious.
If you want to know their actual profession cook score, I can tell you.
I assume Guy's at like 9, 10.
Guys is... Pull it up, I gotta pull it up. 11. Because he has skill focus cook.
Nice.
Grog has...
Plus 23.
No. Grog has plus 7. Because he has 16 wisdom. And he has 1 point in it. Belle. She has 14 wisdom and 1 point in it.
Don't forget, commoners get skill focused profession.
Okay, wait, then Grog actually has 7. No, Grog has 8. Belle has 9. So, 11.
Yeah.
Wait, no, because his skill
Hey.
focus... He has 14.
Yeah, Guy's the obvious, right? Like, even outside of... Skill?
14,
Yeah.
14, 9, 8 is their... So, this is their ranking from best to worst cook. So, even then, Grog isn't a terrible cook. He's actually a pretty decent cook. He just isn't very imaginative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obvious choice.
Okay, I'm putting Fiery Guy up here on the definitely hire part.
Put Gorg in the barracks.
So here we'll do this. Those hire in their correct positions, we will put in this room. People that we are interested in, but we don't want to hire them for the position, we will put in this room. People who we just want to say, sorry, you're not really fit for the job, we'll put over here in the bathroom.
Okay.
So, Borg, here. What about Belle?
We could hire her as a guy's assistant.
I don't think he needs one. I don't think he even wants one. He cooks all his food magically.
Yeah, and
I say, well, yeah, what would she even do?
Like, is it, we could tell her that if, when the kitchen expands, we might come to her. But for the time being, we're hiring someone else. Somebody with experience with, the job portfolio.
All right. Does anyone oppose, including Anissa, does anyone oppose this decision?
Hiring fiery guy?
Yeah, no, the specifics of where these people are. Does anyone oppose this?
Nope.
Okay.
All right.
He's asking you.
Yeah, Anissa.
Anissa. You are Anissa.
You're Anissa. You have the say of what she wants and what she
okay.
likes.
What do you mean by in those positions?
Like,
were you paying
like
attention
he
to what
just
we were talking about?
Oh, well, I like Belle, but I don't know. Yeah. I'll defer to the group.
all right. Defer to the group. Nice. Up next is position of live-in house servant.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested in these.
Would you like different music?
Let's get some like Japanese made music.
No.
What does that even mean?
Oh.
Oh, I forgot you skip. I was gonna change the song when Gorg walked in, but I think you skipped it.
I did.
Damn.
I typed in made music to see what happened. Nothing is what I want.
There you go. A baby metal band made.
No. Stop button. Okay, here it is.
Oh, you don't like baby metal?
I don't necessarily hate baby metal. I just don't really like metal.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Weird.
There's a hip hop song called "Maid Outfit."
Play that on repeat 10 hours.
10-hour repeat. Thank you. Let's just get some proper piano music. Here it is. Soothing, relaxing piano music, 3 hours. Right. Alright. Several hours pass. I assume you do other things during that time.
Mm. Yep.
Until you gather together once again, and Anissa steps in. Alright, we have the first, for butler position.
All right, bring them in. Oh, the generic fantasy butler art.
I googled fancy man art.
I've seen this art used for like 7 butlers throughout D&D games.
He steps. He's not quite dressed as nicely as he doesn't have a monocle.
Damn.
But step up. He's a human man, and he's maybe late 30s. He gives a slight bow, and pulls the seat out and sits down. Greetings.
Hello. Holds my hand out.
He shakes it. I am Celino Udinisi. of the Udinese family of Arkandale.
Nods.
I'm here applying for the job of live-in servant, something I have experience with.
Looks at Ra.
Can you describe your experience working as a live-in maid in a domestic setting?
Well, I'm very experienced in all housekeeping duties, including cooking, cleaning, preparing houses for guests, as well as some minor yard work, including gardening, lawn mowing, usually with a manual tool, but sometimes magically. He says, I worked as a live-in servant for a merchant lord here in New Chandath before an unfortunate accident caused the lord to lose a significant investment, and therefore he could not keep up payments to me, and I was relieved of my job.
How unfortunate.
Indeed.
Look at Ra.
Any characters or any questions anybody else has to ask?
Is that your only
What's your-
question for the maid?
No, I'm asking out of character. Does
No.
anybody else want to jump in?
What's the final test? Please clean something for me, sir. Make some mess.
So you can use magic.
No. I clean. Well, I cleaned using a magical. I mowed the lawn using a magical tool. An auto reaping scythe. He says, I personally am not skilled in any magical arts, although I have been trying to learn. It eludes me. Basic cantrips. I suppose that's a reason that people go to school for it.
And that was advertised that we would teach them that for this position, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be definitely one of the things we'd work on because prestidigitation's so
Huge
useful for
time
this.
saver.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have you ever?
Why even have a maid if you have the spell?
What? Because you had it cleans 1 cubic meter per 6 seconds.
Yeah,
That's
I
like
clean a whole house in like a few hours.
I mean, yeah. But you said like that's like a few hours of you doing manual labor, standing there chanting spells over and over and over.
God,
That's why you have a maid.
I'd rather just wipe the floor.
Well, I mean, prestidigitation is good for getting like stains out and shit. Like obviously you can just sweep the floor, and then if there's anything harder, you go prestidigitation is gone.
How do you prioritize tasks and manage your time effectively in a larger household setting? Since we plan to go ahead and have multiple people living here.
Well, of course I delegate tasks based on their urgency, such as immediate spills, especially in areas of high traffic, any sort of damage or serious deformity to the house. I specifically work usually with a list given to me by the house owner, which I complete in order usually of the list's writing, unless an urgent task comes up. I would work usually in shifts. Since I was a live-in servant, I had, of course, my own free time and my own place within the house.
Oh, continue, please.
No, I was about to defer to you.
How do you handle delicate fabrics or magical fabrics that might have special care?
Well,
Do you have any experience in any of that?
yes, I have some significant experience, well, many years, laundering both magical and non-magical fabrics of all kinds. from the most exotic silks to the most basic linens.
Mhm.
How do you maintain professional boundaries while living as a live-in position?
Well,
Since there's going to be a large gathering of people here, and some of them you may not get along with personally.
I like to keep things strictly professional. When I am on the job working, I act in a professional way, and I, of course, treat the house as a work environment. However, on my time off, I am, of course, free to do as I wish, not intruding into others' business, acting as if the house is a home rather than a workplace.
Mhm.
Usually, he says, I believe I'm the only servant. I would be the only servant you'd be hiring, so I would be on the work almost all the time. However, not quite as urgently. When I worked, we had 6-hour shifts where you would work diligently on a list for 6 hours, and then you would have the rest of the day as free time. But I believe that since you're hiring just one person, it would be more like a long-term, uh, long-term work situation with time sprinkled in between, based on the urgency of tasks.
Correct. Can you just have you ever managed or trained other domestic staff? Because as you said, it's one person right now, but as we grow, we may need a second or more.
I have I have trained specific people in certain tasks, yes, that I was proficient in. However, I have not ever trained a workforce. Nor have I trained staff in general work, aka all of the work that I do. I mostly train them in certain laundry techniques or gardening techniques.
Okay. When you worked before, were you a general um uh butler, or were you
I was
a
a I was a
managerial?
I was a personal servant for the Lord. I worked with him personally. I usually did not work with the other staff members unless they were required. Um, I worked with the Lord's personal duties, such as his clothing and any other sorts of duties that were required at the time.
Anything
Well,
else, Spider?
no, I think you have answered all my questions. I will open up the floor to Torch. I will look over at Torch.
Looks down at Torch.
Actually, please, for the last task, would you clean our entire house?
Last task: clean Torch's room. No, that's how we get no applicants. Oh, Zach's AFK. I don't think he has anything to say.
Yeah, I just saw that too.
Um,
Well, then he doesn't have anything to say.
yeah, I think we'll dismiss him and bring the next person in. They obviously, unlike I assume for the cook, they probably went home and then we went and got them later.
Yep.
Or chilled around. This person can just like hang out probably in the dining room because I assume each interview will only be a couple minutes.
All right. Anissa steps in and says, "The next woman is ready."
What? You shouldn't refer to people as woman. Nah.
No.
Quite degrading, don't you think?
Oh, I vanished.
Degrading to call someone. Okay.
It's a meme.
It is Austin, so expect terrible things to be jokes. Up next, in steps a sort of just average-looking peasant woman, with sort of dusky skin and hair.
Mhm. Is that a holy symbol of Udal I see?
No, it is not. It is a holy symbol that you don't recognize. But she steps up and sort of sits down, and she sort of puts the holy symbol inside the sort of
Her bosom.
into her bosom, the bosom of the front of her dress. She says, "Hello, I am Vivri Radimo. She motions with her hands. I don't speak common well."
What language do you speak?
She switches to a language that none of you speak or have likely ever heard.
Shakes head. Is it Illustrian?
No, she speaks in Rashimi.
Ah. We do not understand that tongue. Sorry.
It's alright. I speak conversational common. Alright. I'm applying for maid job.
Alright. Look at Roth.
Okay, so
I would like
can you
to-
describe your experience? Oh wait, yeah, that's the wrong one. Can you describe your experience working as a live-in maid or in a domestic setting?
Can you describe your experience in a kitchen?
These may have been drawn from actual questions where I just went ahead and
I mean, yeah,
rearranged them.
these sound like very basic interview questions. I've been asked these questions.
Yes, I went ahead and looked at the questions that I asked because we recently hired somebody. I went ahead and looked at the questions I asked them when we hired and just reformatted them for the 3 different jobs.
All right. She says, I have not worked as a live-in servant before, but I know how to clean and cook and prepare houses. My mother taught me. She just kind of quietly looks at you.
How do you prioritize tasks and manage your time effectively in a household setting? Yes, I'm aware that he's asking questions that are probably outside of her scope of understanding.
She says, I don't understand.
What did you ask?
How do you prioritize? I will say it.
She
how-
stops. She stops you. She says,
no.
that word.
How do you choose what to clean?
Oh, she comes to you and says, oh, well, well, my mother taught me that you always clean the house from the front door and clean back, so that if you were ever surprised by guests, it's easier to present. She says, unless, well, something is on fire or something is spilled, then usually clean that first, but usually clean from front to back.
Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from.
I'm gonna have to jump off, y'all. I'm dying.
Don't die.
Don't die.
Y'all have.
Robbie, you are now torch.
Say what?
Vivri says, I'm from a village, Limatsk.
Oh,
wait. Oh, go. Continue.
Limatsk.
He's just saying, "Oh," because he has no idea what that means.
He's surprised. Oh, wow, a thing I've never heard.
Again, yep.
What is the holy symbol you have?
Oh, it's a symbol of the hidden one, god of magic. She shows it. It's a single eye, with another eye inside the pupil.
Is there another eye inside that pupil?
It is not. No, it's too small for another eye.
It's infinitely recursive. You get down to an atomic level and it's just more eyes.
You enter an atomic level and it's a Rala, and you zoom out and you see the conversation.
You are a mage.
She says, "No, my mom was a witch, but she was a witch of Rashomon, but I never learned. I know a little." She sort of waves her hands and creates little sparks. Basic stuff. Zero circle.
Cantrips.
I see. And would you be interested in learning more?
She sort of lights up at that and says, "Yes, of course. I love magic. I've always wanted to learn."
How long have you been around these parts?
Oh, I just came in on the ship last month. I've been living in the camps on the outskirts, trying to scrounge money to make living here. But it's hard. If you have no skills, or if you don't work with consortium peoples, then you don't work well.
Would you say you have a adequate grasp of languages? Learning Chondathan would be required.
Um, I, uh, I could try. Other languages besides my mother tongue have always been hard. Ever since I was a little girl. Reading, she says, she sort of waves her hand. Reading is hard. The letters are jumbled.
Mm. She's just dyslexic.
It's very hard when you have to learn like 4 different alphabets.
Oh, does everything have is Chondathan like a different alphabet from Common?
Yes. Chondathan is a different alphabet from Common, so is Kalashite. So are almost all of the outsider
Why?
languages.
Wait, why? Why would why would they have such differing tongue? Chondathan came from Kalamshan, right? Chondath?
No. Chondathan existed before the what's it called? Humans came out of their shelters. But it was a very small minority within Kalashite territory before they moved to form their own colonies.
Yeah, but wouldn't they just have kept the Kalashite language then? Why would they switch to a
but-
whole nother like alphabet?
Well, no, but they had their own language and alphabet beforehand. Both languages are from different parts of the world. Just the 2 cultures were staying in that area when the calamity started. The Chondathan alphabet, one sec, is very similar to the Thoras alphabet. Specifically, one sec. And the Kalashite alphabet is called Alzedo. And the Common alphabet is called Oribesh.
Okay.
So yes, it is actually hard to learn a bunch of languages that have no linguistic ties to each other. Because the languages didn't develop naturally as the civilizations did, they just kept languages from before. The only language that isn't super confusing and actually developed naturally was Viakin. The Viakin language, because it was actually made from Eluskan settlers who took on the Norse
Norse.
culture. Yeah. And then developed the language by themselves.
Wouldn't the Norse gods just like teach them Nordic languages?
They taught them runes, but the Norse gods could speak all languages. They're gods.
Oh no, I just assumed they'd want to keep their language, right? The language of their people.
There are some there are some obviously it's Viking is like a pseudo fusion of like Nordic and Eluskan.
Okay. Okay. Do we
How
have
do
any
you-
other?
How do you handle delicate fabrics or magical cloths?
Oh, delicately. If something is expensive, you don't want to rip it or break it. So, I take my time, make sure that it's clean.
Your 0th level magic. Do you have the cleaning magic?
She nods. That's the one, yeah, that I know.
The one.
That's the one, yeah.
Okay. That's very good for cleaning fabrics and shit.
And shit, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's what we have for right now.
Okay.
Nods.
She sort of stands up and gives a bow. She sort of like does a little kind of curtsy with her dress. Thank you. Anissa leads her out.
And then the final one.
All right, the final woman is let in.
Oh. Another woman.
Yes,
Censoring the O.
a woman in a leather overcoat steps in with a undershirt. And she sits down, sort of giving a head nod to you all. Hey there. I'm Rosrel.
Greetings. I held my hand out.
She gives you a shake with her gloved hand. And when she pulls the hand away, she sort of waves her hand and prestidigitates her hand clean.
Oh.
Nice to meet you. I'm applying for the position of cleaner.
Well, have you worked before as a live-in maid or in a domestic setting?
A live-in maid, no. But I've worked in cleaning for quite a long time, both magically and otherwise. I like it when things are clean, and if I get paid to do it, it's all the merrier.
How do you prioritize tasks and manage your time effectively in a household setting?
Well,
Or how would you imagine it, since you have never done it before?
well, I usually focus on the thing that is the most obviously a mess, first, and work my way sort of out from that. It's always good to get that hard work out of the way right as soon as possible. She sort of touches her chin with her finger. Says, well, I'm not exactly sure. I've never worked with a deadline before, but I'm sure it won't be that hard. I'm very quick.
You are a magi?
Yeah,
Of some kind?
I know some basic magics. I'm self-taught. She sort of opens her jacket up slightly and shows a leather book that's attached to a strap on the inside. Yeah, she just like flashes you for no reason.
Nice tits.
That's how I get the
Oh,
job.
no.
She says, yeah, I'm self-taught. School of Conjuration.
What tier magic can you cast?
Second. I've recently grasped the second tier. lot of esoteric magics that can be hard to understand.
This is certainly a fairly entry-level position for someone with your skills.
She says, "Oh, the money's no issue. Um, I have a quite a large inheritance I'm living on. I just like to keep things clean, and with all your antics in town, people say that you're all very messy folk. I thought I could
Yep.
give my services and help you out, so that you keep that reputation a little better."
She's pegged us good.
She
We
is-
did butcher something on the street.
She is pegging you.
I have a butthole?
So no.
Canonical butthole?
Question mark?
Ray, can we get the butthole attachment?
The pussy attachment? Alright, you can go to the next question. Brighter just nods after she says that we're very messy.
How do you handle delicate fabrics or other special care items like magical cloths?
Oh, well, those are no issue. Any basic fabric or even magical one can be cleaned via prestidigitation. If that for some reason isn't the case, although I've never seen a mess that couldn't be cleaned via magic, a purification spell, maybe a first tier spell, could clean anything basic if it's rotted or damp and moldy.
What about repair? Can you do small repairs on
Yes,
pieces?
I can make whole. I can mend. I can conjure small items and creatures. If that's required, either to pull something or to apply force to something or etc. I don't like getting my hands dirty.
You said you have a large inheritance. Do you plan on living in the estate?
If you would like, yes, I have my own home.
I have an idea. I'll propose after she leaves.
Yo, you're already married?
Yeah, that way we can take the large estate.
Oh no, I was gonna say. I'm not gonna say this right now, but I think hiring Vivian. What was it? Vivette. What was it?
Her name is Vivri.
Hiring Vivri to be live in, and then having
Her come
Braswell
in?
come in. Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing actually.
because mates she doesn't care about the money.
And then they become girlfriends.
Because I really do want to hire Vivri, because I think it'd be good to
she's kind of pathetic.
Yes. Well, I think it's also just a good fit for the low-paying job experience. I think
for the person who doesn't understand your language to have the low-paying job.
Well, I mean, especially with
yeah,
the butler.
that means one of us could be a pimp.
The butler's great
Oh,
and all,
God.
but
Of course,
He's
Technically, we
clearly
could
gonna
hire
want
2
something
people,
more.
right? We could hire 2 people,
oh,
right?
we absolutely can,
you
especially
could-
for this position.
you could
Yeah.
hire everyone if you wanted. I mean,
Yeah, we do have the money to hire literally everyone who's come in.
Yeah.
Next question.
How would you maintain a professional boundary while working if you did decide to be a live-in, or if we did require you to be a live-in?
that would have to be set up. The boundaries would have to be set up upon moving in. I wouldn't know too much about your scenario or how you act. That would all be I'm very discreet. You won't even notice that I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Casts invisibility, cleans your room.
Invisibility and silence.
You're just sitting at the table, and the table just gets gently lifted and cleaned.
And she has a rod of silent and still spell meta magic, one in each hand.
I like to get to work right away. I don't like anything to distract me. So maybe I might be a little brash or urgent with my tasks. I don't like when anything sits out or when it's when a stain or dirt or anything like that sits for too long. It makes me anxious.
I
Looks
see.
at Torch. Looks back at her. Understandable. Uh, and we just hover over Torch's room.
Yep.
She's, she's like an unseen servant, permanent.
Permanent. She's a major germaphobe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's
Keep-
applying to this job just because she's a germaphobe.
Yeah.
Even though technically there's no germ theory yet. She's a neat freak.
Mm-hmm. She's autistic savant for cleaning.
Okay, well, I think that's the questions we have for you.
All right, thank you. She stands up, sort of pushing the chair out slightly. She takes her gloves off, puts on new gloves, and then shakes you guys' hands.
After cleaning them last time.
I will clean my hands right before. I'll use prestidigitation to
Yes?
clean my hands right before I shake her hand.
Anissa, sort of stutters like this. Yeah, I'll see you out. I couldn't find a redheaded maid art, by the way, Robbie. I specifically looked for one.
Damn.
But I could not
Damn.
find a redheaded maid that actually looked good. All of
It's
them
a
were like
shame- it's a
all of them
shame.
were like battle maids.
Battle mates.
All right, let's pull up the maids and one butler. Do we have any immediate yeses and nos for Anissa? I guess your vote is gonna matter because there's no torch.
Okay.
Is there any immediate yeses or nos for any of these people?
Selenio does not interest me.
Yeah,
No,
same.
Seleno?
I think he's just too skilled for the job.
I thought Austin would be obsessed with it because he's obsessed with Arkandale.
I like all three of them. Well, I like the first one and the last one more, and I like the one in the middle.
I like the idea of having.
You're not a big Vivry person.
I mean, the first and the third are very dapper. They're very they're fancy people, and I like.
Yeah, but that's not what we're
I like
hiring
them.
for.
I don't know.
Like we're.
Yeah,
I hope you know we are literally like. This is a very low paying job.
Yeah.
The main benefits are food and and like a room.
That is true.
You're literally paying someone minimum wage to clean your house.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, minimum wage plus benefits, which are really good benefits, admittedly, but it's still minimum wage.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the idea of hiring Vivry, and having her, hiring Vivry and Roswell, and having Roswell do like day
It's
cleaning.
Roswell. Roswell is where
Roswell.
Roswell is the alien crash place.
And then having Roswell do like day cleaning, since she's really obsessed with like immediately cleaning shit, right? And then having
Specifically,
Vivry do the like calmer, like night cleanings, kind of going through everything, sweeping all that shit, right? After everyone's left. Especially because she doesn't speak common. It would be a very good like spot for her.
I agree.
So
So
doesn't speak Jondathan.
I think these two should be over with Guy, and then he should be in the bathroom.
put him in the bathroom.
Throw him in the shitter.
Anissa, is there anything you'd like to say for Seleno? Specifically, do you have any points you want to bring up? Besides the fact that he's just very fancy and handsome. All right.
I guess that's a no.
He is
Good
very
answer,
fancy.
Robbie.
He is very fancy and handsome. Which are two main things you want when you have a butler.
And they
Either
can have,
gotta
like-
be either gotta be fancy and handsome, or fancy and incredibly old. So much so that he almost can't do the work. He's just there 'cause he's been with the family for like 50 years.
But
I
he's
did
also
find-
secretly a 20th level monk.
I did find a perfect picture for a red-headed maid.
I know, I saw. Up next, we have the accountant. Let me Google accountant music.
Got a regular show reaction for you.
accountant music. Hey! Accountant music, here it is. There's an accountant playlist. Alright, gang. Enough of this very gentle piano music. It's putting me to sleep.
It literally did put Zach to sleep.
Alright. We have some chill step work vibes to listen to. Alright. Let's get some accountants in here. These are all very different accountants. Let's do it.
Oh boy.
I think these accountants are probably the most... I mean, the cooks were kind of goofy. The accountants are probably the most interesting. Mostly because they're the people you're going to be interacting with probably the most besides the cook. First person to come in. A middle-aged looking tiefling man. He walks in with a cane. You can tell he moves with a slight limp. Although it's clearly not from age. He seems to have some sort of chronic pain or injury.
Tiefling.
He's probably one of the more humanoid-looking tieflings you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of plops his... he plops himself down and he puts the cane sort of on the side. He reaches for his cigarette, which is still lit and smoking, and he puts it out on his arm, which he does not react to. Because of fire resistance. Yep. He says, hey there. I'm applying for the accountant job. Looks like you need a bookkeeper.
Yes, we do.
My name's Malmir.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
up
meet
my
you as
hand.
well.
He puts the half-smoked cigarette in his behind his ear, sort of like a pen in someone's ear. He says, alright. So, you got an adventuring guild that you're gonna run. That's some pretty basic stuff. You put in a... I can't help but notice that he pulls out the listing for the accountant. I can't help but notice that you didn't really put anything specific on the listing. Besides, you need an accountant, and the pay, and the hours.
Mhm.
We are both not from this continent, nor are we from this time period. As you can clearly see, we are not accustomed to the rules and regulations of this region.
Yeah, well, you should be careful. You can get scammed like this pretty easy. Trust me, I know my way around a scam, and this is prime bait. He says, alright, so, what are you looking for? Bookkeeping, finance tracking, investments, all that?
Well-
I can work with gold, I can work with credit.
We will definitely be working with both credit and gold.
Alright?
We will have different forms of payment to different people, including services.
Yeah, payments for employees.
Well, services paid out to employees as part of their possible wages,
Yeah.
including room and board.
Alright, that's pretty standard.
We will also be doing magical item creation, which will require or
Yeah, I've worked with that kind of thing.
okay.
He says he sort of twitches his left eye. He says, "Ugh." He puts his head up to his head. He puts his hand up to his head. He says, "You don't mind if I smoke in here, right?"
Oh, has no impact on me.
All right.
I cannot feel fumes.
Torch shrugs. Um, he
Mm.
takes the cigarette off his ear and just sort of snaps, creating a small spark, and sort of puffs the cigarette while he's talking. Yeah, this is basic stuff. I've never specifically worked with an adventuring guild, but I know the deal. I've worked with people who did work with adventuring guilds. I knew bookies who did jobs like that, bounty hunters, stuff like that.
Okay.
Basically, just
Um,
a more centralized bounty hunters.
Yes. We will also be running a small kitchen along with
Like a
room and
tavern.
board that will be needed to be accounted for.
Okay. Yeah, I've run the books for taverns before.
Okay. Um,
What have you worked before?
All sorts of places. Calamshan, Shadowdale, Mistdale. You know, you don't live a few hundred centuries without seeing a lot of shit. If you get
a
what I mean.
few hundred centuries.
Oh, I mean a few hundred years. I'm turning 498 next month.
Ooh, you
I
are
understand.
getting old.
About middle age. Tieflings live usually pretty long. I'm
Nods.
expecting to.
Wait.
I'm expecting to drop dead around my 600th birthday.
We figure that our age is in the 50,000 years right now.
Congrats. He just sort of puffs the cigarette.
Gotta flex on him.
You know, I got a lot of experience in this kind of thing, and it looks like you really don't. So, you might need the help.
What do you know about the
Consortium.
inner workings of the payment and regulations with the consortium?
Consortium, I know all their tricks and deals. You know, their prices and all that shit. I've worked with the consortium a bunch, all over. They're all over the coastline in western Chondath. Mistdale, Tassdale, Shadowdale, all over. I've worked. I don't personally contract for them, but it seems like y'all do. So I might be working more specifically with them. I assume I'll be collecting bounty payments, listings, etc. Separating funds for members and for the guild itself.
You will be in charge of handling the bookkeeping and finances. Anissa here is going to be our
Anissa waves.
liaison for collecting payments from companies and other
So
hirees.
I'm just writing down where it goes.
Yep.
Shit, that's easy. I mean, you could have anyone off the street do this.
Although we are interested in any further tips, tricks, investments, as you said.
Yeah, I would say that I dabble in investing.
We are looking to eventually grow this across this adventure guild across other locations.
Oh,
As
really?
we are as we seek to
You
expand our horizons.
You figure yourself Pathfinders, huh? Something like that.
What are the Pathfinders?
We have never heard of such a thing.
You don't know what the Pathfinders are? They're like the most famous adventuring guild in the world. They got societies all over, every continent, every nation. Pathfinders Guild.
Looks over at Ra. I never encountered a Pathfinders Guild in the Whispering Expanse.
No. And we checked here before we started our own guild to see if there was one.
Yeah.
So I'll be.
I think something with the dwarf who owns this place, the viceroy. He's got a personal stake against them or something. He won't let him shut up shop.
Oh. Okay.
Convenient for us.
He finishes his cigarette, putting it out on his hand again, before reaching into his coat pocket and pulling out another cigarette, which he immediately starts.
Can you tell us some of your experiences?
Like the jobs I worked.
Yes, along with possible references.
References? I don't think any of the references I worked for are still alive. He says, well, you know, I did bookkeeping for the consortium in Shadowdale freelance. You know, I ran a few trading guilds in Kalimshan. I was never a pasha, you know. I didn't own the guilds, I just did all the work, right? And then, let's see. I did that for like a century or two. And then I did a lot of freelance stuff. I run some fighting rings. I worked with some bounty hunters. Lot of on and off work doing bookie stuff for, you know, gambling, stuff like that. Worked for a casino for a few years. Casino in Tassdale.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's all the questions I have.
You don't want like a demonstration? You know, usually these kind of people, especially adventurers, they usually be like, you know, and now do something.
What would you like to demonstrate for us?
I don't know, I could do math.
Looks at Ra.
If you
Give
like,
him a math problem.
If you write down a math problem, I could do it. Easy.
Okay, what is
With your fucking 23 int, just give him something crazy.
Ooh, give him a freaking
As long as it's not a word. As long as it's not a word problem. I hate that. Just give me the numbers.
Wait, give me 1 second. I will go ahead and
I would like you to solve the Goldbot conjecture.
I will go ahead and draw a curve.
Just like right out. Like
I'm drawing a curve, and then I go ahead and put lines under it and give it the dimensions and ask him to tell me what the area is underneath the curve.
Okay. Just like what's it called? This is just basic.
That would be a knowledge engineering check.
He does not have that.
solve for this. Oh, I
Yeah,
see
because
that
that's actually something that you have to know when you're figuring out for like the structural strength of things.
Oh wait, I got a better one. 2 plus 2. Alright, he takes a look at it, he says, what is this?
It's a math problem.
Yeah, where are the numbers though? This is a line.
No, I will then go ahead and point to where each one of the numbers are. That's a number, that's a number, that's a number. I want the area underneath this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an architect.
You said
you do
math.
our finances.
You know, like this. He sort of writes down a sort of complex series of...
Can you solve for this?
He looks at it, he says, I mean, if you gave me enough time, maybe.
No, yeah, I think we're good. I don't think.
He says,
But we just give him a complex but not too difficult math problem.
alright.
Yeah.
That's solvable.
He solves
sure
it.
he's-
He solves it in a reasonable amount of time.
Okay. Yeah, my character doesn't have has engineering as his math skills, so that's why I would throw an engineering problem without even thinking about it. That
Alright.
and I have a low charisma, so I think everybody's good. I don't
You
think
have
of what
12
other people are
charisma.
like.
As the interview
Oh,
is
this
ending,
one has a. I have too
Yeah.
many characters.
As the interview is ending, Malmir sort of stands up. He says, "Alright, well, I think we're good here."
Oh yeah, this one does have a decent charisma. Okay, never mind.
Yes.
I lied.
You just gave it just just fuck him.
We we have 2 more interviews. We will contact you after.
Yeah, I'll be in town. Over the course of the interview, he has smoked 7 cigarettes.
Okay.
He is such a chain smoker.
He is.
Torch prestidigitates the smoke away, so it doesn't stain the room.
All right.
Yeah, we are definitely not hiring him. He lied in the interview and had. Yeah.
What do you lie about? I wasn't paying attention.
He said he'd never worked for the consortium before. And then when I asked him what positions he worked for, his second job was working for the consortium.
Oh, that's a mistake on
Oh.
my part, not his.
That's a.
Oh.
That's me being dumb, not his character.
Oh, I thought that was like you throwing a trick question at, or seeing if we caught it. I was like, oh, I caught it.
No, I just misspoke.
Okay.
He specifically he has worked for the consortium, but he's never signed on with them full time.
Okay. So we'll retcon it that's what he said.
Yeah.
What do you think of him? Besides, now that is rectified, what do you think of him?
He's definitely the probably. He's a very risky option. He's a high risk, high reward option.
Yeah, he seems like he's good. I don't 100% trust somebody who has mostly worked in gambling halls.
However, gambling halls' finances are meticulous.
Correct.
He also worked in ring fighting as a bookie.
Correct.
Like I said,
Bookie
he's the high risk, high reward option.
Yeah. So we'll see what the next one is.
All right. Anissa does not open the door. This guy opens the door, and Anissa falls behind him. He flourishes with his cape as he does so.
Oh, he's gay.
Greetings, friends. He sort of removes his cape, doing a little flourish around himself before setting it on the back of the chair and sitting down. Nice to meet you. I'm Hivid. He sort of leans forward to extend his hand out.
I
Shake his hand.
Hivid Sore Eyes.
Aren't you a sight for sore eyes?
Ha! I've heard that one before. He says, I've heard that you need someone to keep track of your numbers for you. I am a... he reaches into his bag. He pulls out a certificate. I am a professionally and classically trained accountant and mathematician. He starts putting out his qualifications. And I'm looking for full-time work.
I see.
Does it look real? I am trained in detecting forgeries.
Are you? Give me knowledge linguistics. Not knowledge, just linguistics.
Oh, it's only 11.
You have no idea what a college degree would look like. This certainly looks like a college degree. It's written in Shondathan. It is from a banking and accounting school, specifically located in the city of Ermlasphere, which is the capital of Harrowdale. No, the capital of Tassdale.
Interesting.
Specifically, that is a big merchant city. Is one of the biggest cities that has ties to Kalimshan. It's like right on the trade node between Kalimshan and Shondath. He says, I, for one, wanted something new with my life. Something new and exciting, but...
Is that, was that a pun?
I don't understand what you mean by that.
You said I, for one.
Oh, he says, he pulls the eye patch up and his other eye's fine. Oh, this is... It lets me see in the dark. My eye's fine. He sort of, he just takes the eye patch off. He says, It lets me see in the
Perfect.
dark, and it also magically allows me to swim better.
Yeah, the pirate's eye patch.
Yes. He says, I'm classically trained, and I've never personally done full-time work as an accountant before, but as you can see by my credentials, I am fully qualified.
Did the college you go to, was it allied with the consortium?
It was sponsored in part by the consortium, yes,
Are you aware of their rules and regulations?
of course. Every merchant that deals with the consortium has to be aware, at least full-time. I'm aware with all sorts of legal regulations.
I feel like the interview process has been raw, just like listing off lists of things he's planned beforehand, and then anytime there's something that needs to go off rail, it's Ryder.
Yeah, that is pretty much what has been happening.
Good cop, bad cop.
uh,
No, studied cop, charismatic cop.
Hot cop, ugly
You-
cop.
you seem to have the aesthetic flair of an adventurer.
Oh, I just like making an entrance. I think it's always
Not-
good to make a first impression. He sort of parts his hair and flicks it gently in the wind.
Have you ever used a weapon of any sort?
Well, I trained in archery when I was young. But I wouldn't call myself an expert. I haven't picked a bow up in over 20 years.
Okay. On to actual questions. How do you handle working with different currencies and different types of payments, along with service payments and stuff like that? We're looking at a
We are
the guild. We're looking at creating magic items. We are also looking at having a inn of sorts for adventurers only, and we're looking at a bar, or a tavern. So
So you're going to need someone to run all of those numbers for you, so you don't need to worry about it.
correct.
Yes, I can absolutely do that for you, and I can promise you that I can work it. He winks, seemingly for no reason, as there was no pun or joke. He said, and I can work it
yeah.
just as well as you need. I personally, like I said, I have no experience working full-time, but I'm fully qualified and understand the inner workings of all these businesses.
Outside of standard quote, like he does air quotes, running the books, how would you help the guild grow financially?
Well, with your permission, of course, and your guidance, I'd be willing to make investments and extra payments as required in order to spread advertising and sort of really get us out there. I'm sure I'd be working with this fine lady. He motions to Anissa.
This time he winks again.
I'm just smiling for some reason.
She
I'd
thinks
be
he's hot.
I'd be working with this very fine lady here. She just told me that she is the head liaison and spokesperson for the guild. I'd be working very closely with her to make sure that we don't outgrow our budget, as well as we don't take on so many jobs that we feel too stretched thin.
Mm-hmm.
I like him.
She says audibly.
He walks in. Hi, what's up? With Riz.
Nanisa flutters. Oh.
He puts his eye
With
patch
Riz. Looks at Raw for next question.
Have you ever dealt with a team of accountants or worked on other shores or know the laws for other shores? The reason I'm asking is we are looking at growing, and if we grow, we will be moving to other locations.
Well, personally, I'm not sure how much different laws could be. You know, coin is coin. He says, however, I'm not well traveled, I'll say that. I certainly have quite a ways to go, but I believe with my classical training, there should be no issue that I can't overcome. I have worked in groups before, specifically, usually in a school setting when I was younger, as well as in minor investments and businesses that I started up with some compatriots of mine several years ago. Although those are no longer in the picture, so I shouldn't have any issues attending to
What
my
happened to
duties.
those investments?
Oh, they were poorly placed, and due to some unfortunate circumstances that were out of our control, fell through. Just the luck of the draw, I guess. Sometimes money is more art than science.
Speaking of science, I will go ahead and produce the exact same question that I asked the other one.
He sort of looks at it, and he brings
Not the account engineering one, but
Oh. Okay.
The math problem.
The
math
he says, yeah. You want me to solve this?
yes.
Okay, yeah, let me, one sec. He brings his eye patch up onto his forehead so he can see with both eyes. The eye patch is broken, I can't see through it. This is, alright. Okay, he sits there for, longer than you would expect. But eventually he does solve it after some revisions. He says, alright, I think this is correct. Is this correct? He shows you the paper.
Yes.
Right?
I'm assuming he's giving me the correct answer.
Yeah, he gives you the correct answer.
So, like,
Yes,
how
it
much longer did he take versus the tiefling? Let's say the tiefling took 10 minutes.
He did it in, like, 16, 17.
Okay. This guy?
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, this guy did it in 16, the tiefling did it in 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He seemed to have... The Malmir seemed to have no issue with it. He solved it in a reasonable amount of time that you would expect. Hivid obviously struggled with it a little bit and had to do a lot more work than you would expect, but he did eventually come to the end of the problem.
Okay.
And he also wasn't afraid to, like, acknowledge, like, I assume he would solve it and look over and be like, that's not quite right, let me try this again. Or did he submit it to us and we told him it was wrong?
No, he didn't submit it to you. He did not submit it to you until he was absolutely sure that he was right.
Okay.
Which means, yes, he did, at one point, he must have solved for something weird or specifically put the number in the wrong place, and then, like, midway through, he's like, no, wait, I messed up.
He's, like, flustered, like, oops.
He puts his eye patch on his cheek so you can't see him blush.
Okay.
But yes, he does eventually submit the right answer. However, it does, of course, take longer than you would expect for someone of his qualifications.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we needed to see.
All right, thank you very much.
We will be in touch one way or the other to let you know what was decided.
Of course, I'm staying in the inn, the King's Tavern, if you need me. He sort of stands up and goes around shaking hands. He sort of says, now, I suppose you'll see me out. Anissa says, yes, of course.
And if you want to see me later, I'm at room number 3.
Alright, initial impressions of, Hivid.
Yeah.
I like him.
I will veto him.
Why?
Because
Okay.
he's a fop and isn't capable of the math. He's dressing and acting like a pirate. We don't know that he's a pirate or not, but he's dressing and acting like a pirate, and he's not as good at the math as he claims. There's a chance that he would be somebody looking to go ahead and rob us blind. And with Anissa stuck just like fawning over him, I don't trust Anissa to be able to keep our people or our money in check.
Yeah, he also literally was wearing a
I
pirate's
assume
life
you
hat.
don't tell me that.
No. No, I would just veto him. I'm only telling Robbie that. I'm not telling Anissa that.
Okay. Yes. Very well.
We'll discuss this later. But yeah, I think he's kind. I think if he was less of a faff, I'd like him over the other guy.
Yeah. He was way too much of a fop, and it just was what it was.
I like his attitude. He's just too much. No, the math failed him, in my opinion. If he had like everything went the same and he was very proficient in the math, I would have liked him over the tiefling.
I would not have, again, just because of how much he would be able to charm our money.
Mm.
All right, the next person that walks in is an elderly-looking Shao Man.
Oh, he's Asian. That means he's good with math.
Yep.
Okay, that's one strike on
That's
Austin.
a stereotype.
Yeah, that's one strike on Austin. Nice.
Well, he might not be good at math. He might be a doctor.
Okay, that's
God.
one strike on Spider. 3 means you're banned.
That means we can say 2 more racist things, Spider.
Okay.
The man stumbles in. He's sort of dropping papers as he does so. Oh, I'm sorry. One sec. He sort of quickly carries them up. Nisa also grabs some things. He's just sort of holding things. He clearly has too many scrolls. It's obviously a problem. He quickly sits down and he gives a sort of short bow before laying out these things on the table.
Why does he look like a Jingxi?
He's not a Jingxi.
It looks like one.
He looks like he's wearing a traditional scholar's robe from Xiaolang. He says, nice to meet you. I am Lu Zhao. He says, here are my, this is my resume, and my recommendations, and my references. He sort of just lays out a bunch of documentation for you. And
I looked over them.
These are my qualifications. And this is my schooling record. And this is a general history of my family. He sort of sits down and says, he doesn't say anything. He just lays it all out in front of you.
He's looking over it all.
Alright. He is decently qualified, at least what you say. He's decently qualified. He has a family history of accounting. His father owned a bank, and his grandfather started that bank. He is scholarly trained in linguistics and economics, specifically in Goka, which is a merchant republic that broke off from Xiaolang. Everyone give me perception checks if you're looking over this qualifications.
Okay.
Can you roll for
Yeah, I can.
I got a 17.
Can we take 10 on this?
Sure.
Oh, I would have taken 10. Oh well.
Okay. Torch would have got a 14. Okay, just going over. This is a lot of information. It's like way more information than you ever would require.
Oh yeah, he gave us his family history.
Yep.
I feel like so everyone just kind of sits silently like, reading over his
Yeah,
qualifications.
it takes
for a
like
moment.
it takes like 15 minutes to go through all of it. But if I mean, if family history matters, he certainly is qualified by blood to run money. Um, he is qualified. He has many previous jobs that are similar to this, including a few years running with the Pathfinder Society in Xiaolang, specifically the Empire of Xiaolang. Um, he's worked at banks, law firms. He has many books that he has self-published about the history of Xiaolang.
How many places has he worked?
How many places has he worked? He is, according to his family history, which you can tell, he is 68 years old. He has had 10 jobs in his life, most of them lasting anywhere from 4 to 5 years. He also gives you a copy of one of his books, which is called The History of the Dragon Emperor, which is a general treatise of the history of the Dragon Emperor of Xiaolang, the immortal Dragon Emperor. Before you
It seems you've spent most of your life in Xiaolang. What brings you to New Chondath?
Chasing opportunity. Things in Goka are unstable, economically speaking, and many places do not have need for someone such as myself. So I've taken the first ship from Xiaolang, and this was the closest destination. I'm looking for work before I move on eventually.
How long do you think before you will be moving on?
That will depend on, of course, how long you require my services. I will not live forever, but I can work for years, if required.
Oh, did he mean move on as in die?
Yes.
That is not how we took it.
uh, um, you are, how long have you been in New Chondath?
Oh, for, a year.
Have you grown accustomed to the rules and regulations of?
Yes, very easy to pick up. All very simple.
It seems very clear that you have the history with this job and similar.
Indeed, my family ran many businesses. My family ran many businesses, banks, all sorts of stuff. This is very similar to this. I've worked with Pathfinders before. Are you similar to them?
We think so.
We think so.
He nods. Then it'll be fine.
We have never dealt with Pathfinders before or heard of them before today.
Really?
Yes.
That is surprising.
We awoke in a tomb.
I was about to ask if you were born in a hole.
Yes, we were.
Well, no, we were created in a lab. I created us in a lab that became a hole.
We are very old. We do not know much of the organizations of this world.
He says, if you require, he points at his references list. If you require speaking to my references, I can contact them via Sending Stone.
I don't think that's needed.
I'm assuming that I can answer almost every question on my list just by looking through the paperwork because I took 15 minutes.
If anything related to his history, his experience, all meticulously it is all meticulously written in Xiao and then copied into both Shondathan and Common on different documents.
Okay,
The job is very simple. I'd kind of detail the list of duties as before.
He sort of cocks his head at that and says, why do you look for an accountant then? Could not one
Uh,
of you do that?
Well,
we will be
are-
adventuring.
Oh, you're busy.
Yes.
Furthermore, we are also looking for somebody to help grow our finances in ways other than basic bookkeeping.
Oh, you want someone to invest for you?
Yes.
Hmm.
Would you
could-
like some water? Getting up.
I'm fine.
I will be getting water for the others.
He nods.
Okay, I'm going to this room and I am going to be casting detect magic and then coming in and looking to see if there's any illusion
Do
magic
you bring
on
water?
him. I do.
He
Okay.
forgets the water.
He's wearing several magic items, specifically his glasses, 2 of his rings, 1 earring, his hat, his shoes. They're all magic items.
Okay.
All of the documents are magic. Specifically, they are covered in abjuration magic.
Protective.
Likely some sort of anti-erosion or water damage.
I'm
Yes.
looking specifically to see if I see any illusion magic.
No, none of the items he's wearing. His hat has illusion magic on it. Faint illusion magic.
Like hat of disguise, kind of. Yeah, that's
no
hat of.
clue.
Yeah, that is the aura of a hat of disguise, though.
Yep.
I
The only reason my hackles are raised is he is just way too perfect. And so I just want to.
So what he was about to go off on a investing before Ra rocked away.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, if you need someone to invest, I suppose I can work with what finances you have. I do not know what you wish to invest into, so more specifics would need to be discussed upon my hiring.
As mentioned, we do not know too much about the modern economics of this world. We are merely looking for that to be your role.
All right. He sort of looks around the room. I suppose that is easy enough. If you wish to delegate your duties to someone else.
Hey.
He folds up all of his recommendations and reviews. It's like Google, like Amazon reviews of him. Hey, nice guy, sweet, 5 stars.
Are you gonna question him on his hat?
No, because I'm going to discuss it afterwards. Yeah.
He packs everything up before putting it all away and then standing up from the chair. He gives.
Oh, I would give him the math question.
Oh, he solves it in a reasonable amount of time.
Okay.
So like, it took the tiefling 10 minutes and the other guy like
This guy
15.
maybe solves. If you're counting, he solves it in like 9 minutes 40 seconds or something like that.
Okay.
Like there's clear like margin for.
So this guy's just slightly better if.
Probably just like a margin of error.
Right.
Yeah, like if there's like a 20-30 second margin of error either way.
Right.
They're likely, intelligence-wise, they're likely about the same.
Okay.
He hands you back the paper. I believe this is the correct answer.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
He nods, and he sort of stands up. Well, I will be at the King's Tavern if you need me.
Very well. Thank you.
He gives a gentle bow, and then turns around. Anissa, oh god, everyone turns around.
We all face the other way.
Anissa sees out. Oh jeez. 1 sec, let me grab you.
Alright, well, bring the accountants out. do we want to ask him? Can we make spellcraft? Like, what other magic? I know, obviously, hat of disguise. I don't know of any other hat that would have a similar effect.
Illusion. Yeah.
Yeah, faint illusion. Can we spellcraft? See if we know any.
You would have to have the hat.
Well, I mean, like, we know, like, no, not a spellcraft where you know.
I mean, it could be a custom magic item.
But common magic item. I assume, like spellcraft. If we know any other.
You don't immediately. None immediately come to mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will let you guys know that he's most likely wearing a hat of disguise, which means that there's something false about his appearance.
Well, I think he
And
is
all of them
otherwise.
have some problems.
I think he is otherwise the most qualified. If we,
Yes.
We could ask him about the hat before.
Before we hire him, yes, I would want to ask him about the hat. I think he's the best, but I would want to know what the hat is.
I am not otherwise entirely opposed to the tiefling man.
Oh, here, let me bring these out. Sorry. I'll put them in order of math problem solve time. We have Lujao, Malmir, and Hivid Soreyes.
Throw Hivid over here.
No, Hivid.
He was just a little too much.
My fucking pancakes. By the way, I don't know why that video makes me laugh so hard. I'm just gonna post it because I love it.
Oh. If it weren't for the have disguise, we would probably take Lu Jiao without any issues, I assume.
Oh yeah.
If it weren't for the have disguise.
I mean, we're gonna ask him. We're probably gonna go there and like, meet him at the tavern and ask him about his magic items, or specifically the hat.
Yeah.
Let's. I don't think there's any argument there. Malamir is a good runner-up, but there's definitely a preference.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's ask him about his hat.
All right.
Thing we saw, it was seemed similar to a hat of disguise.
When confronted, he says, "Oh, this." He takes it off. He says, "It's a hat, and it changes shape and color."
Very well.
Well, he didn't shapeshift back into somebody else when he took the hat off, so.
Right, which is what happens if you were wearing a hat of disguise. So, and if it's something,
he's hired.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the safest pick.
Actually, I would ask if I could see it.
He says, I suppose so. Be careful, it's my father's."
Very well.
Smash it.
He
I will go ahead and burn it.
What?
No, I'm going to go ahead and check with a quick spellcraft check.
All right. Okay. 1 sec to make a roll. Okay, you make a saving throw. You see through. This hat has a magic aura spell on it. The hat does not have faint illusion magic. It actually has strong illusion magic on it.
Oh.
Okay. So
this item's aura is magically altered so that spells that detect or spellcraft checks, like identify, etc., would normally show a false aura. Specifically, this is greater magic aura. And this greater magic aura spell has been permanencyed.
What's the
Okay.
actual hat
Hog.
have?
The actual hat has strong illusion magic on it.
You want to say this?
Yeah. I will mention that. Wow, this thing actually has a much stronger aura of illusion than I expected. For something that just changes its color.
He sort of looks and then sort of reaches out for the hat. Says, it's an heirloom. It's very precious and very magical.
We are going to be having you work in our coffers. We would want to know the nature of the magic, especially if it's illusionary.
He says, it is as I said. It changes. He sort of begins to break down slightly.
My character builds magic items, so I'm assuming that I would know that that's
Make a spell
beyond.
check
Okay.
because you're examining the hat.
Oh,
This right here, this is a greater hat of disguise. A greater hat of disguise continues to keep the disguise. First things first, it's considered alter self, not disguise self.
Yep.
And it stays for 24 hours after the hat's removed.
Huh. So we don't know if he is anything else. If he...
So you say this only changes the shape and color of the hat, of course, right?
He says, yes, of course. He says, it's very precious to me. He sort of reaches forward and
Halger
tries to
has
grab
plus
it.
10 sense motive. I just
oh, I mean, we don't need a sense motive to know he's lying.
Yeah.
He reaches forward to attempt
yeah.
to grab the hat back.
I think you should let him have it, but we.
Oh, yeah.
keep questioning him.
So the alter self part of it, what do you use that for?
He says, I'm not sure what you mean. I've never used this hat in such a way. He sort of puts it on, and then you see he sort of says a word in Shao, and the hat sort of alters itself.
He's lying, right?
Make sense motive.
Yeah, now he needs sense motive.
Yeah, I'm no good at that.
Halger's pretty good at that, actually. I'm surprised.
I can't do sense motive. I mean, I can try here.
Oh.
Oh,
Ray, Torch and Ryder, he could be lying. He could also just be very worried about a very precious family thing that's just being kind of manhandled. Ray, though, you know what the hat does. It doesn't have any ability. The ability that uses to change itself is a super minor ability. It's not the focus of the hat.
okay.
Well, I think we were asking if he was lying about not knowing the abilities of the hat.
Yeah, and he clearly does. He's clearly lying, Ray.
Okay. Well, I think that would be all that we need to know. We appreciate you coming in.
He says, all right, I'll see you out. He sort of shows you to the door of his bedroom, or his, the tavern room that he's staying in. He says, have a good day.
Thank you. And as we leave, I will say, well, he was lying about that. He definitely knows how it works, and he definitely is keeping himself altered to look like a showman.
All I can imagine is Zentrum.
Well,
All right, let's get Malmir.
yep.
All right.
I'm going to.
out of the three, Malmir sets off the least red flags.
Oh yeah, I
I'm-
mean, one's a
I'm gonna have
pirate, one's a disguising themselves. The fact that it's a greater hat of disguise means he's probably not even a human. He's probably a devil, which explains all the very well done documentation.
we go and visit Malmir again,
All right.
and this time I'm gonna have detect magic going. The other guy just kind of made it a priority.
Malmir has no magic on him at all, except for a ring which has minor evocation magic.
Okay.
Looks at it to see through magic aura.
It's actually greater evocation magic.
It's a ring of
wand.
fireballs.
It's a ring of fireballs,
That's what
exactly.
he uses to
Well,
light
we
the
we
cigarette.
hire him and tell him he was right, and that we that
Yeah.
some kind of outsider tried applying with a hat of disguise.
The next day, Lu Zhao is just gone. He's what's it called? He has tapped out of his room, and he's just no longer in town the next day.
Yeah.
We should definitely mention this to the guards, though.
Yes.
Probably.
Specifically, when you mention it to the guards, they immediately know what you're talking about, because they got a tip that there was someone who they quote unquote were not meant to be, who was masquerading as someone else. So basically, they had gotten a tip magically that there was a interloper, quote unquote, who was essentially disguising themselves as a respected member of the community. This interloper is, they don't know why exactly. They must have targeted Lu Zhao and just slipped into his place. Because the Lu Zhao that has been staying here for a year, was Lu Zhao. But his body's never found.
Oof.
And likely the person that was slipping in, because the voice work trusts you, he lets you into this information. It was a drow noble, who is, for some reason, impersonating the Shao accountant.
Huh.
Interesting. Well, if he had just told us he was a drow noble, we probably would have hired him.
What's it called?
Then again, he
Yep,
wouldn't
but
know that.
Lu Zhao, and his belongings are never seen again.
Okay. Well, we never saw him in the first place anyway, so.
So, this is the final roll call for hiring. We have definitely hire, ask to join the group anyway, leave.
Yep.
We'll go over. I'm gonna go over every single person, and we will, of course, be like, you can either say nothing, or you can say, I don't think they belong there, I want to move them somewhere else, etc., right? And then that'll really comb out what everyone feels.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna start pointing. Vivri. Okay, no objections to Vivri.
Keep.
Nope, she's gonna be a live-in maid, and she'll handle most of the smaller duties.
Yep. Like I said, we just need to get a pimp for her.
A pimp for which one?
She doesn't speak the language very well. She moved over here, and we're hiring her to be a live-in.
Fiery guy.
Okay.
Does anyone hate this guy?
I love him.
He's
I think
good.
we should set. Does he ask for like higher pay than what was advertised or anything?
Not immediately, no.
Okay.
He may in the future.
Yes. That's fine.
Malmir. Does anyone hate this guy?
I think he's
Joseph
okay.
does, but
He's
my
quite
character
the
doesn't.
chain smoker. We'll need to like make
Yeah,
a
there's like
window.
there's gonna be like a persistent smoke issue.
Yeah, we'll need a window to just kind of sucks out the smoke.
Speaking of which, I want to make a magic item, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Make a at will prestidigit. Oh wait,
Grog.
you should get him like
Air freshener.
I'm making a vape.
yeah. Make,
Grog. Does anyone want him in any other position? Either yes, definitely, or get out.
offer him a job as an adventurer. Say he would make a his skills are great and he would be adventurers always need chefs who are handy like he is.
All right, he will get back to you on that.
Interesting.
No opposition to Grog.
Nope.
No,
Grog has like a human level intelligence. He has 11 int.
he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't really belong in the kitchen, but he belongs on the road kitchens. You know, he's a road kitchen kind of guy.
Zoom in though. Look at him. Look at a cutie.
Look at that smile.
He's
That's
having a good time.
that's a winning smile.
He's got some brain damage.
Oh yes.
The first like sapient orc we've seen.
Not
Has
oh yeah,
brain
that you've seen, yeah, not the first one, but yes, he is severely brain damaged and he is psionically stunted. He cannot access the psionic web that all orcs have.
That may actually be a reason why he's normal.
Yes.
Actually.
That is the reason why.
That
he's
is the
normal.
reason he is not connected to the new sphere.
Roadhouse.
Bell. Anyone want to move Bell to any other position?
Let's offer her a job as adventurer.
She says that
Not Bell.
she doesn't
No.
really have the constitution for that.
Maybe later on we might need a second cook, but
Celino.
Mm.
Does anyone
Wait a minute.
absolutely
Do we
love
want to start a brothel? Because we could offer a job as a.
Shut up.
like a match with D?
well,
Anyway, keep going.
Celino. Does anyone absolutely love Celino and want him in?
he's cool and dapper.
You can hire him to be your personal servant if you want. It is rather affordable.
For what?
For-
I said she's losing like 7/8 of her job.
Yeah. She doesn't need it.
Okay,
Oh.
up next.
She would
Hivid.
just want
Does
him
anyone
for
absolutely
a
love
reason.
Hivid and want him in?
Anissa.
He's a pirate. Pirates aren't good for you. No.
He just has
He'll
the eye
break my
patch.
heart.
He doesn't even have a messed up eye. He just wears it 'cause it lets him see in the dark.
Well, everyone else says he's a pirate, so I don't know.
I mean,
Oh,
he's
no,
got
he's
a
just-
pirate vibe.
He's handsome. Yeah.
You got the bravado and
He has
lack of skill.
the panache. He,
of a swashbuckling adventurer.
by the way, do you want to know everyone's class levels?
Sure.
First level wizard.
Yep.
Wait, no. She's a
No.
0th level wizard, and she has a trait to get a cantrip for free.
So she's a first level commoner.
Yes. This woman is Roswell is a 5th level conjuration wizard. Oppose school's necromancy evocation.
Nifty.
6th level bard.
Yep. Fiery guys, 6th level bard. Malmir is a 8th level expert.
Oh,
Grog is, of course, a 4th level ranger. 1st level commoner.
Yeah.
1st level wizard. But he doesn't actually have any spell knowledge. He has no spells and no spell book. And Hivid is 1st level swashbuckler, 3rd level expert.
What would have hiring him have been bad?
You'll never know.
Or-
we'll never know now.
What do you want to know?
What-
You want to know all their alignments?
what level was the Shao man? The drow?
He was a 12th level wizard.
12.
12th, yeah. His name also was Ju Lao, not Lu Jiao.
It's 11 p.m.
It is. Would you like to know everyone's alignment that you're hiring?
Sure.
Chaotic neutral. Lawful neutral. Chaotic neutral.
Oh,
This guy's chaotic good.
chaotic evil.
Chaotic good. Grog isn't true neutral. Chaotic neutral. Lawful evil.
Damn.
And she is neutral good.
Mm-hmm. I was expecting Malmir to be lawful evil.
Nope. He just goes with the flow. He's doing it for his own shit.
Mm-hmm.
He is.
I kind of like Malmir if he would. Outside of like, I think he has flaws, but I like him overall.
Yeah.
like his art
Mm.
on him.
Yeah, he gives off like bad guy lawyer vibes, or like
Better call Malmir.
yeah.
Hi, I'm Malmir. Did you know that you have rights?
he's that evil dude that you see in like movies about inventors or bad guy lawyers or bad guy.
Or he's like
Like-
the clearly evil guy who's working with the good guys because they're paying him.
Any guy who has an office and is evil, that is what he
That is
epitomizes.
most people with offices are evil. I think I could say that
Yes.
for a fact and be
I
good
guess.
about it.
Yeah, to a degree. Not everyone, I imagine.
Blows up house with mom.
Blows up pancakes.
Can you send
with
me
mom.
the picture
Fucking
for Fiery Guy? I'm gonna make him with
Frosted
Tip.
tips.
Yeah,
yeah.
one sec.
You go over and frost his tips after hiring him.
Look, trust me, you'll look better this way. Nope, it makes you look more like a douche. Just keep it anyway.
Here's his full art. He's a fucking Chad. Look at, he's got a full cauldron he's carrying around, and a broom and a loot. He's got those spices on like a grenade belt,
Oh, damn, dude.
serving up the kobold surprise.
He's got, dude. That guy's cool. Yeah.
So, what other things were we thinking of doing today? Because we got about an hour left before game ends.
We need. Tinky said a bunch of other adventurers were gonna come in.
I should have
With
been
some
doing
lower
like
level
Lisa
adventures?
voice.
We don't need to interview them. They're just gonna be generic people.
Yeah, I do not have them generated, but I know the levels of who's entering. You get. By the way, you might want to write this down here. Actually, let me write it down here. Where should I write it? Guild members.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The guild's initial. Got it. There are 2 level 1 fighters. There is 1 there's 1 level 3 wizard. There is 1 level 3 rogue. And there is 1 level 2 cleric. Those, they don't have generated personalities yet, but by next time they will all be their own individual characters.
Okay.
We will meet them, introduce them to the guild, get them their memberships, and put them all in a group together and send them off for a low level quest.
They just all die, like, horrifically.
Well, then we don't have to pay them.
Man, Zanchul is not the place for low-level adventurers.
Well, I assume low level quests are like fetch quests around town or the surrounding area.
It's definitely not something like, please go pick up my laundry.
No, it's like go kill giant rats in the sewer.
Man, a good old giant rat quest. I love it.
We send them on a giant rat quest.
Unfortunately, though, giant rats, they're very cute, and it's very sad when they die. I mean, look at this. Look at this gif. How can you not think this is cute? They're European rats. You can tell because they're driving on the right side.
Yes, yeah.
Alright, and then we set off for to speak to our good old buddy.
Would you like to speak to the scholar tonight?
I'm down.
Yeah.
How's everyone else feel?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Who are we speaking to? I don't even know.
The scholar, who you were told by the viceroy, that there was someone from the colony of Jamon's Rest, which, who had not, the colony had not contacted anyone in a long time, and had also severed itself from Kalimshan. And apparently, there is someone living currently in town who is from there.
Mm-hmm. He's a good guy.
He's a scholar specifically on the Zanchuli language.
And trolls.
And trolls. Alright.
He's a troll fucker.
Okay, one sec. Let's get... some music.
He was an NPC we actually, in our kingdom building game, we took him and just had him in our party as we traveled. He wasn't an adventurer, but he mapped out the area as we traveled.
Mm-hmm. Neat.
Khalid El Hoku.
Or just Khalid to his friends.
And El, if you're a weirdo.
It's weird because it's like calling someone the.
Yeah. That's why I said if you're a weirdo. I like Grog.
You like
He's
Grog?
a good boy. Yeah, he's a good boy.
Gave him a single pat.
I put a pin through his head.
No. I like how it's an invalid response and then played the song. Task failed successfully. Alright. You approach a small, poor shack on the outskirts of town. One second.
Oh, I see why it said that. Because you told it to play the name of the thing, and then it brought up a list and asked you to press a number from 1 to 10. And then instead of doing that, you did /play and then the link. So it was saying that's an invalid response because it's not a number, but then you still sent the command. Oh, look at the maps on his table.
Alright. You approach this small shack nestled between two large...
So how's that?
If you think it looks good, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't, because it's frosted tips, but...
Oh, I think frosted tips look amazingly poor, but how does that look for a Guy Fieri?
He does,
you know,
he does look like his hair is flavor blasted like a Dorito.
that's kind of what I was going for because
Yo, isn't it wild? I know this is a joke that's been said before, but you could eat one Dorito, and that's more nacho cheese than anyone in, like, the 14th century ever would have in their entire life. It's crazy.
You can click one button on a keyboard, and that would be more keyboard presses than anyone in the 14th century does in their entire life.
I know, it's wild. Things we do all the time now. You do one jumping jack, and that's more than any caveman would ever do.
That's not true.
You think they had jumping jacks back then?
Maybe. You don't know.
All right.
It's something they could have done.
That is true. We have no idea.
We have you approach again that small shack on the side of town. It
Wait,
is.
where's
It is,
Kraquita?
it is run down. Crepweed is off screen.
Okay.
But she's with
Dead.
you.
Okay.
The windows are drawn, and so are the blinds, as well as the small glass pane on the door. It's also drawn. The curtains. And the inside of the area, the inside of the house, appears to be dark.
Knock knock.
A crackly voice speaks up. One moment.
Oh, sounds like the inoculation fucked him up.
What's it called? The curtain lifts up very slightly on the bottom, and you see a pair of red eyes peek through. Not like the whole eye is red, but the pupil of the iris is a deep red. Who is it?
Look, we are adventurers. The Viceroy told
The
us to
curtain
come
goes down.
speak to you about some sort of he referred to us to go speak to him about Chipotle,
Did they
right?
close it? Did he?
Yeah,
Like,
he
did
just
he
put
close
the.
it?
Right? Pinky?
Yep, that is what he said. If anyone would know, it would be him.
We know the name Chipotle, right?
Spotley?
Or yeah. Or did we not learn that in
You
character?
did not learn that in character.
We found some sort of eldritch monster under the land mass, and the Viceroy said you might know more.
The what's it called? The curtains open up again, and you see the same pair of eyes under a blue turban. Quiet down. Come inside. You hear several locks unlocking. One sec, let me get some more sinister music. But not like super loud, ominous villain music. Quiet, sinister music is what I need. Yeah, somber music. There you go. There you go. Okay, the door opens up slightly. Inside, hurry. Don't let too much sunlight in.
Okay.
Are you allergic to the sun?
I close the door behind me.
Okay. You see a figure in front of you. It's hard to see because it's dusky. I guess we know what you all have dark vision, don't you?
Huh?
Everyone except Torch has dark vision, right?
Yes. I think you said we have dark vision.
Yeah, you guys would have 60 feet.
Yep.
The man you see in front of you is, completely head to toe clad in blue robes with a steel mask and mouth covering. The only thing that really points out, the only thing that really stands out as completely, wild to you, is that, he has two pairs of blinking red eyes.
Inoculation fucked him up, man.
Here's the full art for lead now. I put it in the art channel. He says, you should not speak like that of those things out in the open. The island hears.
The island hears?
Yes. The thing you saw, it can hear everything. As long as you're out in the open. We can speak in here, it's safe. As he speaks, there are sort of wet clicking sounds behind his breath, almost like he's speaking through a beak. Who are you all? How do you know all of this?
What did he say?
Who are you all? How do you know this?
We are adventurers. We were traveling on a quest to recover destroyed caravan. We found a cave made out of flesh and traveled deep, 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 deep underground for it was like an hour, like 2 hours walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For over 2 hours before entering some sort of cave with giant monsters and tendrils all out of
He
the
puts
walls.
his hand up. All right. You don't have to say anymore. I know what you're speaking about. Why are you still here? You should have left.
Why?
The island knows you, he says. It will come for you. It's seen your faces.
So, did it come for you?
He sort of looks away and turns around, showing his back to you. It did. Once. It came for all of us. We made a mistake. And everyone paid for it.
So what was the mistake?
He sort of turns slightly so that his two right eyes are looking at you. We made a deal. For protection. For help. We struggled.
Why are you still on this island if it bothers you so much?
He says, it's too late. For us. For all of us. We can't leave. The water. It kills us.
Oh.
We can't approach it.
Can you not leave through teleportation?
He says, I dare not get close enough. My affliction. It is contagious. It is why I am covered, as you see me now, like a leper. The blood of the Deep One. It turned us all into monsters. Spurned on by its control. Only some of us were strong enough in mind to break free. The rest are no different from the Akir that you see.
Interesting.
He says,
What an unfortunate event.
it's the only way, he says, sort of frantically turning around. We all have to leave. Destroy this place. This colony. Never come back. Sipakli is stuck. Trapped. It needs us. To free it. To let it go. It's weak.
How would you free it?
He looks down and says, the blood. It needs blood. The trolls, the Zanchuli, they feed it. They believe it to be one of their ancient gods. This I learned through my studies. But it tricked them. They sacrificed to it. And the lizard men of this island try and try to destroy anyone who approaches. Their cold blood does not satiate Sipakli. Only the warm-blooded can.
That would explain why there was the thing eating the blood, the
Yes.
acidic blood, when we ran into it.
Our blood mixes with with his blood, and makes this slurry for him to eat. It is why we
Would
all must leave. But the Viceroy, he does not believe. He calls me madman.
Uh, shouldn't we stop the Zanchuli from sacrificing to it?
He says, their civilization is dwindling, their population dying. Soon, he says, there won't be enough of them to feed him, and then he'll starve and die. We all must leave this place. Leave us behind, the afflicted. He reaches a hand out and sort of gesturing at you. And he says, in between the glove and the robe, you can see his skin is pocked and chitinous. It is too
Do you-
late. I hear
we
this.
are machines. Do you think he'd still come after us?
Not for your blood, but because you are a threat. Because you know too much. I have already told too much. I will be punished in my dreams by him. I know it. He says, the only way. He sort of mutters, the only way. Kill everyone and leave.
Killing everyone would feed Chipotle, would it not?
He shakes his head. Us, the afflicted. Jamon's Rest is now a fortress of flesh and spines. It is a direct conduit to his heart.
So it needs to be ended.
The afflicted. They are not what they used to be. I lost track of the others. The survivors. I'm the only one left. I'm the only one. I tell you all this and it causes you great suffering. Now that you know, it will never go away. Not until you all leave, and leave forever. This land is cursed. We are not meant to live here. Nothing grows, nothing we can eat. It is tainted. I do not know who even settled here in the first place, why they did. This place is toxic, like a sickness growing like a tumor.
It is rich in gold. I believe that is why it was settled.
He shakes his head. All the gold in the world isn't worth this. If Sipakli ever breaks free, if he ever becomes strong enough so that the salt water doesn't burn him, I fear there will be no stopping him. That is why you must tell the Viceroy, the Consortium, anyone. They don't listen to me. They believe I am an old leper, a mad leper. But you know the truth. You've seen him. I can see it in your spirit.
Well, to be fair, it is not the first. Oh wait, Tanky, uh, the first cataclysm did not have or did have undead.
The
I
second,
mean, have.
the
I
second,
know that,
the second,
Huh?
the second
or
calamity.
the second cataclysm, which is what we were part of. Did it have or not have elder gods?
Some old ones were in service to the enemy. Yes.
Okay. And we would have known that.
You would have never seen them in person, because then you wouldn't be sapient and alive. But yes.
Hey, we've seen an old god, and we're sapient and alive.
It's more like you saw like his foot. Saw the dogs for free. He says,
At one time, there were many of these elder creatures that fought in a war. I'm guessing this is from that war.
then you must understand what is necessary. It must die. It must starve. Leave this place and never return. But they do not listen. They are blinded by their greed, their expansionism. They do not see that they are walking into a trap. The more born here, the more will feed him. He will consume all. Old, adult, child. He will drink their blood and grow fat until there is no one left to stop him.
Will he not feed off of those from Jamon's rest?
He shakes his head. We are like him. Cold. He cannot feed us. He cannot feed from us anymore.
Why would he have done that to you if it would weaken him then?
He shakes his head. He has waited an eternity beneath this island. Another 100 years is hardly a wait. Eventually more will come. That is why you must leave and warn to never come. This island is truly the closest thing to hell imaginable. A green hell. Philly turns around and puts his back to you.
Interesting. And you say salt water hurts him.
He sort of, he even cringes at the thought of it. Yes. Not just salt water, but salt. In any form. It burns us. Makes us die. We can't be brought back. It destroys us. Our very essence and spirit.
Salt is cheap. Would it not be an effective defense to bring much into the town then?
He nods. He says, that was the plan of the lizard folk. Many of their monuments are imbued with salt. But, unluckily, salt is low in concentration here. It would need to be imported. And even then, it would be better simply to just avoid it. If
it sounds like
starves, then the world will be a safer place.
it sounds like before we leave, we need to. People are not going to just pick up and leave, even on our word. We are going to need to build up a reputation that people will believe.
And even if people do leave, it will only be 50, 60, 70 years before new settlers return. Something more needs to be done.
And if we have a start, we can always destroy the. What was the name of the other settlement?
Jamon's Rest.
Jamon's Rest.
He
I'm
says,
actually asking him because
he says,
in character.
Jamon's Rest, but we just call it the Heart now.
Okay, so we could destroy the heart and work towards actually proving that this thing is here. to be able to really get people to leave.
He says, if you destroyed the heart, it would kill the afflicted. We are bound there, to the place where we first signed our pact.
So you would die as well?
He nods. It is the only way I will ever truly die besides being burned with salt. I have no need for sleep, or food, or water. I simply sleep to pass the time. I do not require it.
You said you will be punished in your sleep by Cipotle.
He nods. It is a balance. Sleeping to pass the time until I eventually am killed, or being awake to suffer the agony of my existence. I truly curse those who made this pact, for they have caused untold suffering to me.
Lamau. At Zach.
So, I assume that you would not be, that you would welcome us destroying the heart?
He nods. It is my only possible peace. I am not sure where I will go when I die, but it must be better than this.
Well, then that is, at bare minimum, what we will attempt to do if you tell us the general location and things about it.
He says, it is on your maps. The city has not moved, but all who approach should have been killed or eaten. You will need
I'm assuming
considerable force.
Eaten not by wild animals, but by the one sentient that live there.
He nods. They consume warm blood. They require it. The animals in the area have been depopulated. It is quiet. Only the insects and lizards remain. The Akir ignore them.
You said you can only die to salt. We have not had any such issues killing Akir in the past.
He says, no. He shakes his head. Killing them, yes. And you sat and watched them?
We have harvested their parts.
He nods. Parts removed are valuable. But, unless burned with salt, the corpses will regrow. Unless they are removed from the earth. He says, imprisoned in this. He motions at the house around him. Brick. I cannot touch the earth, and the earth cannot see me. I am free, except only in my dreams. If I were to step outside or see the ground, or touch the ground, he says, Sipakli would connect with me. I am not strong enough to resist it again. This island is Sipakli. It is his eternal both punishment and domain.
Is that why the ground is red?
He nods. The blood taints everything, but near the surface here it is in such low quantity that it is harmless. At most it would taint food and make it taste terrible, and it would kill crops growing, unless specifically grown here in the first place. Those that are native grow simply, he says.
What if one were to go ahead and put stone and brick down, and then put earth on top of that?
He shrugs. I have never attempted it. I would avoid the Earth altogether. If I were you, I would break over everything that you own. Never touch the ground unless you have to. You are walking on the back of a dying god. The old ones, he says, the Loa, the beast gods of the lizards. They are the reason that Cipactli is down there. He says, I have discovered much in my research, especially in my contact with the lizard folk. He says, the Saurians of this place, the dinosaur folk, I am not sure if you have ever seen them. They stay in the south. He says, they're old ones, they're gods. Aspects of Khmer, they're beast gods. Destroyed themselves, piling dirt and rubble on Cipactli, expanding the island, but also burying him in eternal punishment.
So these Saurians, I'm assuming that we could speak with them as an ally in helping to defeat this.
He says, he sighs. That was originally our plan. Or mine. They are distrustful of me because of my connection to Cipactli, and they are immensely violent towards anyone who is warm-blooded.
Looks down at Raw.
Looks like we would have to be negotiators.
He said, unless you were able to disguise yourself, they would likely have you killed and then spill your blood off the island.
We do not have blood. We are constructs.
You're lucky. To have blood is truly a terrible curse.
Well,
it is his domain.
Well, as my companion said, we are not blooded. We are not like humans like the others. Perhaps we could speak to the Saurians.
He says, I suppose. I have never met a construct who is so aware. You may be able to strike a bargain with them. They are trustworthy, even friendly to those who are cold-blooded. Even the lizard folk that came with our slaves from Kalimshan, they accepted with open arms, as if they were brothers. But the warm-blooded, the minute we arrived, they tried to slaughter us, make us leave, destroyed many of our buildings, attacked us with magical weapons. They have a powerful magical essence among them, the lizard folk. They tap into the natural mana lines, and their magic is primal. It is not quite as sophisticated as many classical wizards.
Interesting.
They call upon spirit animals and the elements themselves, almost like druids.
I have never seen one of these Saurians around. Do they
nods.
have an orc-like hive mind? Or something preventing them from moving away from their settlements?
He shakes his head and says, I don't believe so. They are intensely tradition-bound and believe that, well, advancement in any way is evil. They have not technologically developed in hundreds of years. And they don't settle new cities. In fact, at some points, their population waxes and they abandon cities and then never settle them again. They are a deeply flawed culture. If expansion is your goal, but they live in harmony with their elements. They are at war with the trolls, seeing them as servants of what they call the Deep One. The Warm One, the Blood Drinker, all names they call him. I'm sorry that I can't do more for you.
No, you've done amazing. You've let us understand quite a bit.
You certainly said a lot.
Is
Again, I implore that for your own safety you leave this island. Bring an army here. Destroy this colony. Then never return.
that is unfortunately unlikely to happen realistically. I understand the thought behind it, and I don't disagree with it. I just I want to look at a realistic way. If it really is an old one, and that is what we felt it was, then I want to find a way to realistically deal with it. And
This town
there's
is a
just
bit.
too much money here.
Yeah, this town's a little too settled in at this point.
Oh no, it's not that it's too settled in. It's too there's too much money and we don't have enough of an army. But
Yes.
He says, there are many ways to destroy a colony. Please, end our suffering.
Also, we were talking about destroying an entire colony. Exactly. Like, what colony are you referring to? I'm sorry.
the colony that we live in.
The one that you are currently staying
Yes.
in.
Yes. Just wanted to make sure about that.
Yes.
You
But,
are asking us to
Lee.
destroy the colony.
Yes,
I
that's
will-
what the entire discussion's been about.
It is for the
I will
great-
turn to look at Halgrid and say, yes. That is exactly what we're talking about.
It is for the greater
And I'm
good.
just
The many lives that would be lost are nothing. A speck of... a drop of water in a pool compared to that when Sipakli is free. The oceans will be red with blood. Once salt doesn't harm him, he will have no weaknesses.
Mm.
You wish to pass on, Khalid?
When I see this mission complete, I will cast myself into the ocean and burn. But I feel as though, in a way, this is my fault. I aided those who started Jaman's Rest. Without me, many of their advancements would have not occurred. And then, when the transformations began, I was instrumental in rallying the people together. It was only recently that I had broken control and saw the error of my ways. There are few others like me. They broke almost immediately. They were heroes, much stronger than I. I was just a scholar, a librarian. I was no hero.
There's got
What-
to be a better way than destroying the colony. Like just killing the people?
He says, I am sure there is, but that way is far off. The most merciful way is destruction.
The most merciful way is to murder.
He
Why
nods.
me?
There are horrors in the deep beyond anything you could ever imagine. And they will do much worse when they get here.
We will speak.
Everyone in this colony will wish that they could die.
Well, we will speak to the vizier about what we can do.
I hope you take what I said to heart. Please be gone. Close the door on your way out, and make sure the curtains are drawn. He steps into this room and closes the curtain behind him.
Nope.
Alright, you close the door.
Hog. Why did you only get so uppity about him wanting to kill the city
I'm
near
half
the end?
asleep. I'm half
Okay.
asleep. To be
I was
honest,
like,
I
we had
wasn't
like
paying
we
attention.
had like a whole 30-minute discussion about it, and
Yeah.
then after the discussion
I
was over, you were like,
legitimately,
"That's."
I legitimately fell asleep certain parts. I don't remember. I fell asleep during certain
I
parts.
said I understand it must be like midnight for you almost.
Yeah, it's midnight. It's basically
Well,
midnight. I'm tired.
How do you, well, Austin? What did you? I'm sorry
Please summarize this for me.
I will do
No.
it in DM. But also it'll be done in a recap. But Austin, what did you think of Philippe now?
Very cool.
He's very different from the man that you originally knew.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna
He's been through
see-
a lot of pain and suffering.
Do you want to see his original art?
He's edgy. I don't mind.
He is pretty edgy now. He has 4 eyes and a bug body.
He was a very like calm and
And-
lighthearted person before.
And he advocates for slaughtering of towns.
Jesus Christ! You're saying that because you literally didn't listen to the entire conversation.
Okay, he says there are things worse than death, so he picks the
Okay.
Yeah,
worst second option,
I
the worst
think-
option in the list to avoid certain death
think-
or
Okay.
worse than death.
He wasn't advocating that we slaughter everyone in town. That was one of the very last things mentioned in the conversation. He
Yeah.
wants us to move everyone out of town and abandon the colony.
Yeah, he wants you to have everyone pack up their things and go home.
To
Yeah,
evacuate
you were-
the city. Okay, that's better.
And then he said, if
okay.
that's not
It's-
possible, you need to bring an army here and kill everyone, because what's going to happen to them if they're not dead when Sipakli shows up is way worse than being dead.
No, here's what you do. You don't bring the army to slaughter them. You bring an army to force their surrender, so you can forcibly evacuate them.
That also
You don't
happened,
have-
yeah?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, death should be the second to last thing. It should be the absolute second
Well,
to
again,
last
if you were
option.
if you were paying attention to the conversation,
It was. It
I was
really
asleep.
was.
Also-
In fact,
also
it
in
literally
the-
was the
I'm
last
sorry.
thing.
Also, in the art channel, I put the original Khalid. He was just a normal dude.
Nice.
It literally was the last thing that he
Yeah.
suggested.
I like the
he-
transformation actually. It's pretty good.
He came up with a whole bunch of
White
solutions, and we were like,
what's it? I love the art,
Yeah.
the like 4-eyed turban art. That was, I saw that arc. It was so unique. I was like, I have to use that
Yeah.
somewhere.
It's pretty good. But yeah, sorry, I was asleep for like half of that.
It's fine.
Yeah. I recommend not forming very strong opinions on things that you only have a portion of the information about.
Let's see.
Shush.
He says,
"Just what? If I tell you that,
My dwarf is not a charismatic person, mate.
so
Anyway,
I was shut up.
yeah. We should probably talk to the vizier and have him probably like. I think a good idea for the town would be like just putting a lot of money into importing salt. Because we know
we need to
he has
order a lot of salt.
Well, I mean,
Why
we can
do need
explain,
salt?
right?
To like kill the god or something? What's that?
Salt permanently kills the god and his servants.
Ah,
So yeah, what you missed was the lizard folk gods, or the Loa, basically they're aspects of Khmer. They're like demigods, right? They basically put an island on top of Sipakli so that he was constantly underwater and basically being touched by salt water because salt water burned him. So he basically has an island on top of his head, and he can't move, but he's slowly getting bigger, drinking blood. And when he's big enough, he's gonna not worry about salt anymore. And then literally the only thing that can harm him will no longer harm him. So And also, salt permanently kills. Basically, if a salt. So
Akir.
basically, what's it called? Salt affects Akir as if holy water, right? To undead. And if
Okay.
you sprinkle like even a handful of salt, or even like a pinch of salt over an Akir's body, it'll instantly burn and vaporize.
We should get I should get salt cartridges for my gun.
Yes.
That just like explode into salt. That's pretty
Salt
cool.
cartridges.
That's actually kind of cool.
Well, it's rock salt.
yeah.
It was it's an actual thing that is shot.
Nice.
Yes. So that's a big old lore drop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we now have
Good man.
our sort of main quote unquote story for Zanchul. Not Zanchul. Yeah, for Zanchul.
We can also focus on.
You can also just leave.
We can also focus on summoning salt elementals. Binding salt elementals as guards would be very effective here.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're just what's it called. They're just altered earth elementals, basically.
No. There's stat blocks for salt mephites.
Oh, mephits. Okay.
Methods. Ooh.
Yeah, mephits are like tiny baby elementals, basically.
Yeah,